Lord Dump.
Hello and welcome to Lore Dump, the show where we take someone who hasn't experienced a game or game franchise and walk them through the full story. One day I'll be able to do the intro without Chase.
I think you managed it the first time. I think the first one he managed.
There was one where he just cut in.
My fans want me.
No less than 10 seconds in, and I can't remember which video it is, but it's 10 seconds in, and he just cuts in and basically says, "Get effed." That is 100% the reason why that video got demonetized. So, as always, we are returning for Kingdom Hearts. Somehow it's not over, but we're getting there. So we recently covered Union Cross.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
It never ends.
We're covering this forever if Chase is happy to keep writing it.
You ask as if I don't have you as like my mental prisoners or something here. Is this hell? Is this your torture?
Well, look, you say that, but we just covered Union Cross, and I think both of us, Neil, you could agree with me. We thought Union Cross was really pretty cool.
A really great story.
Yeah.
Do you remember back 6 months ago when we were recording the initial slate of episodes, and you said unequivocally, "I will never touch Union Cross"? It sounds like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Well, enough of it.
Turns out it's the best story.
10 people asked for it, so here we are.
But of course, we couldn't finish.
They were all Chase making alternate accounts.
but we couldn't cover Union Cross without also covering in its entirety Kingdom Hearts Union Cross Dark Road, which is the new one. It came out very recently, right? What's the situation with this, Chase?
Dark Road. So originally, Kingdom Hearts ended right around the 20th of June 2020. And with that, we had known in the lead up to that there would be a sequel to it that covered the events of our favorite baddie, Master Xehanort, during his early years that we saw in Scala and Caelum during some cutscenes of Kingdom Hearts 3. So this is meant to, as we can see, it is a Union Cross game, and it's part, like we mentioned in the last episode, it's the same app. It is technically a sequel Union Cross, and it is meant to serve as the link between the events of Union Cross into the events of our existing Darkseeker saga, and it's meant to show how Xehanort originally became the Darkseeker.
We're looking at an image right here, folks, of the sort of logo for Dark Road, Union Cross Dark Road, and the lead characters here. I'd like to ask a question.
Yes.
Why is Xehanort so jacked?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was gonna say,
really.
do you see just like the absolutely swollen veins?
And
I
like,
need to know
and
how
like
much he benches.
the veins, like, you know, the dude is tensing while he's sitting there. He's flexing while he's sitting there.
Well, we just learned, so hopefully you've picked up after watching
absolutely.
Union Cross, we have just learned that our beloved character that we created ourselves, Chon Teal, the player character of Union Cross, in fact,
was
turns
reborn
into Xehanort.
Was reborn
Yeah.
as Xehanort at the end of Union Cross. It was pretty wild. The whole
It was a
game,
pretty shocking moment.
We're in a data world, not in the reborn world. We've had escape pods, life rafts with people getting out of there, people getting blasted to all over wherever in the timeline.
Maleficent appears, does nothing, and leaves.
Yeah, darkness.
Just to justify how she came back in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Darkness is in 6 physical manifestations, sort of.
Six remaining ones out of 13,
Out
but
of
now
13.
only...
Well, this is it. Was
Yeah.
our dearly beloved boy. What's your man?
Chon Teal.
No.
He's my dearly beloved boy.
Some of the remaining darknesses were trapped in the wires of Wreck-It Ralph
Oh, yeah.
world by Ephemer. And in a moment of sacrifice, Ephemer then died.
No, Chon Teal then died.
Chantil died.
No, did Ephemer not also?
Ephemer lived on.
Remember, Ephemer took the pod and then came to found Scala at Caelum.
you're so right, of course, yeah.
So with that in mind, Chase, I'm just going to throw it straight to you.
Yeah.
Let's kick
Well,
off.
I mean, I want to go back to you. I want to, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I want to hear your thoughts on, where we're going into Dark Road. You see 4 new characters because I can never give you a new game and not give you new characters. Don't you want more names to memorize?
No, I don't. I see Master Eraqus is a young boy and Xehanort in his throne.
And then
Eraqus was not our favourite boy.
No, we did not like Eraqus. Eraqus...
I think you will like Eraqus in this one.
I didn't see.
Young Eraqus is quite good.
Old Eraqus is not.
Old Eraqus is... meh.
But I have nothing to say about these four characters.
Old Eraqus sits with the classic Keyblade Master mentality for the greater good.
Yeah, that's actually fair. I think he's a natural translation of what we learned about the foretellers, is that the foretellers are the absolute worst. Yeah. So, yeah,
I mean, seemingly all Keyblade Masters are the absolute worst.
True, actually, yeah, because Yen Sid's, we don't like Yen Sid, we don't like Eraqus, we don't like the foretellers. Name me a decent Keyblade Master, and I'll point you towards something awful they've done at this point.
Apparently, Riku's not good. We don't like Riku.
Oh, no, sorry, I forgot Riku.
And we don't like Aqua.
We also like Aqua.
And we don't like Terra.
Terra's not a master.
Yes.
Is he not? Because he failed his exam, right?
Excuse me, you're right. He did.
Mr. Lore over here.
Dumped on Lore
Mr.
style.
Lore has been taken out.
As for the characters we see on screen, so yes, we've got Eraqus, we've got Xehanort, and we have four characters we've never seen before. We have
A child, a 4-year-old child.
a little girl that looks like one of those young, kind of like little magic girls that you get in typical classic anime. That's what she looks like.
We've got the sort of lead singer of a sort of mid-2000s indie band. So
Which one?
Flame-haired.
Okay.
I was about to say, because guy in the middle, I feel like could have also fit that description.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well. And then we've got the taller, silvery, blue-haired one in the middle, who also looks like they could be fronting an indie band. And then we've got a white, grey-haired lady at the back.
Potentially Xehanort's
Sort of
sister.
done up to,
With a wonderful cat mouth.
With a cat mouth and a collar going right up to their chin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aw.
There's nothing really to say about this other than I'm excited to see how Xehanort goes from being a cheeky lad who is interested in the darkness to being a mustache-twirling Keyblade graveyard villain.
I'd like to bring up the fact again that just go back to his tensing muscles. This was definitely done during an age before photographs, so you know that he was absolutely tensing for like 6 hours while the artist painted this photo.
I will say I quite like the character designs. I think young Eraqus is a really cool kind of de-aging. I like our two hipster indie band
I have a
frontmen.
question.
You have the question.
Yeah, Xehanort. So
Yes.
presumably you're going to get to this, but so we know that young Xehanort travels into the future in Kingdom Hearts 3. This is
He's already done. No, well,
is this pre-young Xehanort?
we knew
No.
that he had done that by the time of the chess game with Eraqus. He'd already travelled by then.
So
Right.
Recall that happens at while he's still on the Destiny Islands, which is pre-Scala at Caelum. And that when he returns following that, he loses all memories of doing any of that.
Right.
So, whilst this is after that, he doesn't have any of those memories. That doesn't have an effect on his character here.
He's still quite a hungry for power lad, though, isn't he? Because that's why he travelled in the future in the first place.
He's hungry for something.
Okay.
Pizza.
Now, we've already eaten the pizza.
Yeah, sorry. As always, we do also have our adult juice. Chin chin, gentlemen.
Chin.
Adult juice, yes.
Chin.
We are not allowed to reference what it is that we are juicing, but we are juicing some adult juice. Chase, can you kick off the story? I'm ready to go.
I suppose. So, welcome to Kingdom Hearts, the finale of the Cross Key series, Union Cross Key
Dark Road.
Hey.
So we enter Dark Road to our classic intro spooky choir music, you know, the... So
As we see various...
I could actually go another 3 minutes of that.
I don't think we need that. Spooky choir music as we see the various scenes flash of our players' adventures through the original Union Cross. Through Chantil. We're seeing Chantil.
Ooh.
Our memories go at least to the Keyblade War, where we see Ephemer and Scold save the player, a tear leaking from his eye as he looks up at them. The scene flashes to a young Xehanort waking up on the beach of Destiny Island as a single tear falls from his eye as well. So you brought this up at the end of the last game. You're like, oh, you know, he'll be reborn as Xehanort, but he's not going to remember anything. Oh, he remembers everything.
Everything.
He remembers everything.
Oh, that's very
He remembers
interesting.
all of it.
Oh, shit.
So now I will never look at Xehanort the same way again then, because Xehanort's just Chantil
2.0.
Point 2.0, yeah, like a life continued.
He gets up saying how he's been having the same dream over and over again for as long as he remembers. Of course, in reminiscence of the opening lines of Kingdom Hearts 1. An unfamiliar world filled with unfamiliar faces and unfamiliar goodbyes, as if he's experiencing a life lived by someone else. To be very clear, he doesn't know their names, he doesn't know who they are, but he has all the memories.
Right.
So they're all there.
So he's not aware that this is a life that he kind of has lived.
He is not, no.
He's like, why do I have someone else's memories? Sort of.
Yeah.
Okay,
He just
Kind of like a Sora getting flashes of...
kind of like Sora getting flashes of, like, you know, Roxas and people.
I would just like to say very quickly, short diversion, listeners, following the gap of months we've had since the first set of recording now, I did try and play Kingdom Hearts 1.
Did you?
He did, yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh my god!
I had a pretty terrible time with it and couldn't get past the first few hours.
Couldn't get past the first 10 minutes, ironically enough.
Well,
Because it's a bad opening.
and
Wrong, incorrect.
we are now looking at Destiny Islands, which I have a whole new appreciation for, having run across that little bridge to fight Riku and having climbed up and down looking for bloody eggs and fish or whatever it is. It was mushrooms. So yeah, this is giving me flashbacks.
What does the mayor of Destiny Islands think of Xehanort? Is he a fan? Or is he like this ruffian running around my island?
Yeah, we'll get there.
Well, the mayor's a character now, I guess. Okay.
We'll get there. So, this island, surrounded by smaller desolate isles, a vast ocean, a never-ending sky, this is his entire world. But maybe there's something beyond these waters. Maybe there's other worlds, like he's dreamed of. It's very Riku, isn't it?
Well, we already knew, weren't we, that he was the first to leave.
We did. If he can go to the outside world, would he be able to meet the friends from his dreams? Well, he can't get the thought out of his head as he lies in the sand like a starfish day after day, feeling like he's falling through the sky. No, his internal dialogue ends as he turns around to see a very familiarly brown-robed figure approach, calling young Xehanort his waypoint.
This is when he
Oh,
travels
we know
through
that
time.
boy. That's our good boy. Ansem.
Ansem.
It's Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. But like before he had a body, before he was like jacked
And became a boat.
and became a boat. Yeah, it's the formless, time-traveling Ansem, Seeker of Darkness.
Who hid in a cave for dozens of
Generations,
years.
yeah.
Here to send
The young Xehanort off on his journey. I would like to note that it does call Xehanort his waypoint, which is very important for, you know, the time traveling perspective. You know, this feels like this is now the terminology we're using.
But
Do we have a reason yet for why he knew to send young Xehanort off at this point?
Probably because that's where he was sent off in his own memories.
Of course.
You know, he's just self-fulfilling his own memories.
Cycle, yeah.
Right.
Fair enough.
Of course.
So Ansem continues to tell Xehanort that the world from his dreams does indeed exist. And that this world that he's on is a prison with nothing left for him here. He asks if this is truly where Xehanort wants to live his life, and Xehanort asks who he is. The figure replies that it is his waypoint, as Xehanort is his. Xehanort asks Xen who it is and how he got here. The figure responds, but answers are meaningless if he lacks the knowledge to understand them. But outside, he can learn. Ansem opens a portal telling the young Xehanort that one step is all it takes, but that if he lacks the courage and strength, his dreams will forever only be memes.
Wait, sorry, what?
Xehanort walks forward through the portal. Xehanort's out of here.
His dreams will only be memes.
They're only going to be memes.
Memes like Metal Gear memes, like where it's like mimetic. It's a thing.
No.
No?
That's not a line.
this
in
is not
though.
verbatim.
Oh, okay.
None of my script is
sorry,
very
Chase.
little of my script is verbatim,
Okay.
Monty.
Sorry. Yes, fair enough. I thought that was something he said. Your dreams are gonna be memes.
So we see Xehanort, who through the portal is wandering through a dark corridor, which you asked is a place you can go through. He speaks of how, as he walked through the past, darkness whispered from all around him. He says how he feels emotions foreign to him and manifesting into his mind as words. He questions if these emotions, this darkness, belongs to him. He continues with us learning that this is future dialogue. So this is like him reminiscing. So whenever we see this kind of text on the screen, it's him reminiscing as an adult on his childhood. But he goes saying that he didn't know it at the time, but these emotions belonged to people that he had yet to meet. Some even being directed at him. He questioned how he'd be able to handle that, being a target of someone else's darkness. And he notes that this was the moment where something began to grow in his heart. By continuing to follow this corridor of darkness, no heart could help but be drenched in it. Regardless of where the foul emotions came from, they helped him realize that he could still feel, but he didn't know what lied ahead. We flash forward to Xehanort in a classroom, where 5 other students are with him, including, we might recognize, a young Eraqus. Yeah, young Eraqus down there.
These are all of our characters from the title screen.
Yes.
Why are they being taught by Gandalf?
That's not Gandalf. That's their teacher, who for now will just be called Old Wizard.
He's Gandalf.
It's Old Wizard.
He looks like Gandalf.
It's Meteor Man.
It's the Meteor Man.
It's the meteor, yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
That'll be a fun reference for the 3 weeks that's a thing people talk about before it's resolved.
Look at Chase dating the video already. So, one of the students asks if one's darkness is born from their innate qualities. The teacher responds that it's true for some, but in ancient times, the darkness hid within people, instead taking control of them. People were just vessels for the darkness. Because back in the day, darkness wasn't born from people yet. It was its own separate thing.
Yeah.
However, over time, people's hearts began to birth darkness of their own, which would in time become the heartless. The teacher continues that hearts birth darkness from negative emotions. Most are capable of controlling these emotions, but for some people, it's difficult. And over time, the darkness can reshape people.
I wonder if there's an original sin in the Kingdom Hearts universe. Because clearly there must be a moment then when, for the first time ever, someone's heart started to birth darkness. I wonder what that moment was.
Well,
You know?
I mean, I feel like, because if originally the primordial darkness was just like a natural force, I feel like it was just the corruption of that eventually led to hearts naturally birthing. I don't think it was necessarily an original sin moment.
Cool, fair enough.
I think it was just natural corruption and evolution.
Just interesting.
We flash to a week prior where we see a white-haired student on the bridge, not one of these ones. This other student's name is Baldur. He's joined by Eraqus.
Sorry, which one's Baldur?
None of these are Baldur. Baldur is a further student.
Oh, Baldur as in the god, the Viking god.
Welcome to Norse names galore.
Okay.
Almost. If you can think of a Norse god's name, they're probably in this.
Can't wait.
Frigga. Yeah.
You thought of one.
That's Friday, motherfucker.
Also, I will say in advance, there's nobody named Thor, sadly.
Oh, well.
But
Too obvious, Thor, as opposed to Baldur.
so white-haired kid named Baldur, who's joined by Eraqus on a bridge as they strike up a conversation about how Baldur's older sister has just left for her Mark of Mastery exam.
Okay.
Baldur has a bad feeling about it, though. His sister told him before she left that those who would return would be made Keyblade Masters. Now, Eraqus notes how, the wording of that doesn't sound like they intend for everybody to return. Only those who return can be made. That's a bit sus. So Baldur questions whether the trip itself is the test. Because kind of the way they describe it is essentially they send Keyblade wielders prior to their test itself. They are allowed to go out to the other worlds to essentially broaden their horizons. Right. So that's where his sister is out now, is broadening horizons. But he's kind of questioning, is this actually the test? The test that, as his sister said, it doesn't sound like the Mark of Mastery exam they've learned about. And Eraqus suggests they ask Wizard Gandalf, who we learn is named Master Odin.
Oh, classic. Very good. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's not okay. Why are we suddenly introducing the names of an actual pantheon in our world?
I feel like Kingdom Hearts would be unique. I feel like every other fantasy one that wants to start introducing pantheonic names just steals the Greek ones. I appreciate that for once it's Norse.
It's like Final Fantasy XIV, Hades, and they double down on the Greek stuff there, and especially in Endwalker. You think about even Horizon Forbidden West, Hades again comes back.
Everything's always Greek, so having it Norse for once, it's a fresh change of pace.
Just stealing gods of a culture you're not involved with. Love it.
So Baldur fears that his sister will be lost to darkness, making Eraqus take a pained look. Baldur, says how Eraqus's great-grandfather just his grandfather, not his great one.
Just his
Don't be
grandfather.
silly.
Battled the darkness and lost.
How many years after Union Cross is this, presumably? The end of Union Cross, I mean.
At least a couple hundred.
Okay.
But we don't have an exact number.
Cool.
Now, granted, that's at least after the scenes we saw of Brain's arrival, which already looks like it is a very well-founded city by that point.
Right.
So we don't exactly have a timeline.
So you were saying Eraqus's grandfather fought the dark and lost.
And lost, yes.
Okay.
But Eraqus says that, also, just to be very clear, we are back to just general concept of darkness. This is not like he fought the physical
Darkness number 3.
individual darkness number 3 from Union Cross.
Cool.
As right now, it's the generic back to normal Kingdom Hearts series concept of darkness. Yeah, so Baldur talks about how Eraqus's grandfather battled the darkness and lost, and Eraqus says that he doesn't, exactly know what happened to him. He just knows his grandfather fought the darkness. So he tells Baldur that he gets anxious whenever he thinks the darkness is nearby. Maybe hating the light. I mean, hating the darkness. Excuse me, is in his blood, not hating the light.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, we know that Eraqus is a little light narc. He loves his light.
He does love his light. He's
Sucks it
all
up.
again. Curse the Keyblade wielders for the greater good.
Eraqus would go to the Queen's funeral.
I thought
That
we
dates
promised
it.
we wouldn't mention the Queen.
That dates
We
it.
promised we wouldn't mention it.
Oh, Lord.
We
Sorry.
don't need another excuse to alienate people.
Cut that. Next. Yeah, sorry, continue.
We thought it was funny. Later, we see Xehanort on a bench with Eraqus.
Right. Best pals.
Best pals. They are the best of pals. Xehanort tells him that it's almost time for class, but Eraqus is, he's a laid back guy. He's like, he to take things in his own time. He's like, we'll get to class eventually, don't worry about it.
Will we learn why he has pointy ears? Is it just the way he
Those
is?
with pointy ears?
Well, no, they're not pointy right now, so I'm saying eventually he gets pointy ears.
Darkness.
Just darkness.
Just darkness.
He can't just darkness this.
It
That's
is.
I thought the darkness was eyes.
And ears.
Okay,
eyes and ears.
as
We
well.
always thought the ears were
Were a Xehanort thing being
specific.
carried over.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, I think they are just... I mean, like Odin said at the beginning, darkness can warp a person.
Right.
Change to physical form.
Changes their physical form to give them pointy ears.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And yellow eyes.
And yellow eyes.
And the light gives Eraqus a mustache. Lighter.
Yeah.
It's a very good mustache.
An excellent mustache.
Eraqus strikes up a conversation, asking, what it's like out beyond the great ocean, but Xehanort's like, beats me. He doesn't seem to really like talking about his past on the island too much. Eraqus says that this was the plaza where Xehanort was originally found. And Xehanort asks, what does that prove? And Eraqus is like, well, the nearby towns, pointing out, as you remember from Scala and Caelum in Kingdom Hearts 3, it's a bunch of individual islands.
Yeah.
So it seems that the one that they're on is the only one that is still populated. All of the other ones now lie abandoned.
Oh. Why?
Who knows? Maybe just time.
Fair enough.
Keyblade wielders numbers dwindling or something. We do know that, by the time we get to Kingdom Hearts 3, which is presumably fairly short time after this, we're down to the 7 Keyblade wielders in that game are the remaining 7 ones in the entire world. And half of them they had to pull through time and out of dark portals and
Whereas
shit.
this is a city built for hundreds or thousands of them.
Exactly. So numbers have just been dwindling. Natural dwindling. So Xehanort's like, well, obviously if the other towns are abandoned, Eraqus, excuse me, is like, well, if the other towns are abandoned, clearly you didn't come from one of them, so you must have been from the outside world. Or, maybe you just fell from the sky. Ha 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 ha.
But he didn't though. He came from Destiny Island,
Silly
Chase.
jokey
That's not funny. He came from Destiny Island.
Silly jokey boy. Well, does Eraqus know
I
that?
feel like you're not taking this seriously, Chase.
I am. That time, Monty, it was verbatim from the game.
Oh, Eraqus isn't taking it seriously.
Eraqus did say... Well, Eraqus doesn't know he's from the Destiny
He's a
Islands.
silly wacky guy. Sorry.
Young Eraqus. He likes to goof off.
Xehanort teases Eraqus about needing to see the wider picture and gets up to go to class, with Eraqus musing about what he'd give to see the outside world. in the classroom, which we see is actually the same classroom from Kingdom Hearts 3, where we see them playing chess. You can see their chessboard back there in the window. And
That's got the biggest reaction yet.
Is Xehanort's is the sword name up on the wall right
it's
there?
like it's like right there over Odin's head.
Oh, okay.
you see it in some of the wider shots.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, no name is fully watching this classroom.
Oh, that's very fun.
Yeah. So we see them arrive, and a few of the others are already there. And just because their names are very naturally revealed over time, I will tell you. So we have, of course, Xehanort and Eraqus. We also have Erd.
White-haired girl.
White-haired girl is Erd.
Okay.
Blackish, bluish, anime hair boyd is Hermod.
Okay.
Fiery hair guy is Broggy.
Okay.
And girl is Vor.
I guess girl.
Small child is Vor.
We've got Broggy or Erd.
Groggy.
Sorry. Or Erd and blue hair.
Chase, I'm going to tell you straight up that maybe for the next half hour you're going to need to keep reminding me who the names are after you give me the names.
Oh, there's more names after this.
Oh, great.
There's at least 8 more.
But I'm going to need, what's her name? Erd, fiery hair girl.
That's a guy.
Hey, fire hair guy.
So they have been summoned to class by Master Odin. They're not here for a class. Master Odin has summoned them, but nobody knows why until he arrives. And explains that the 7 upperclassmen who went out on the training for their Mark of Mastery exam have all disappeared. Ooh, a mystery. He continues to explain what we know about Keyblade War, World Shattered, nobody knows of existence, World Order. Keyblade wielders aren't allowed to meddle in the World Order. However, in training for the Mark of Mastery, Keyblade wielders are given leave to visit these worlds in order to broaden their horizons. Xehanort asks how you travel these worlds, and Master Odin tells him that normally this is a secret reserved only for upperclassmen. You learn it, when you're a bit older. But today is going to need to be an exemption so that they can go out and help search for these missing students.
Why don't you go and get them, Odin? You're a master.
Oh,
Where do you think Yen Sid learned it from?
Literally.
It's not. I wish we saw Yen Sid in this game because I really want to know, is Yen Sid on the same level as Odin?
Well, here's Mike. Yen Sid is out there in a Disney World somewhere.
But when did he become trained as a Keyblade wielder? Was he trained in Scala?
I would believe he would, surely, yeah.
I mean, it's got to be because Yen Sid's,
He's like 1,000,000 years old.
Yeah, who knows? Or did he train Master Odin?
Well, that would explain a lot about Odin, I'll tell you that.
So, the news elicits a range of emotions from excited to worried, yada yada, for the classmates, with Xehanort saying how he'd rather go search than sit there and do nothing. He wants to go help. He's a good lad. Master Odin tells them that Baldur has been given a different task and will not be joining. Because obviously his sister is one of the missing ones, so he hasn't actually been told. He's like, don't tell Baldur. I don't want to worry him. As they leave, they question Xehanort as the only one who's been to the outside world.
Sorry. Don't tell Baldur, I don't want to worry him, but the 6 of you are about to disappear without saying a single word to him to go look for his sister. And we're not going to tell him where you've gone or why you've left.
Are there no adults working at this school?
He's just going to...
No, it's just Odin. It's just Odin.
Well, at least we're learning the lessons left to us from the previous world that was destroyed. Let's send the kids out to go and do it.
It's Odin and his 14 kids. 7 of whom are now missing.
Another dreadful sitcom we've come across.
I'd watch that. Odin and his 14 kids.
So as they leave, they're all kind of questioning Xehanort because he's the only one who's been outside Scala. And he tells them that one thing's for sure is that the connection between the worlds is unstable. Obviously, at least as of right now, the only connection he knows of is the Corridors of Darkness. That's pretty unstable. It's not great.
Yeah.
So we then learn that at this time, the worlds are still actually rebuilding. All the worlds haven't come back. And the worlds began to rebuild following the Keyblade War, but based on how quickly they rebuilt, time flows differently in all of them.
Right.
Some of the worlds are complete, while some aren't. Different worlds moving at different speeds from different starting lines.
Right.
So that is all to say that they need to be careful with what they say where they go, because we might go to San Francisco, where they have the power of nanobots, and then go to Agrabah, where they, don't.
I don't remember that being a plot line, no.
Or they go.
Any nanobots, god damn it.
Or they go to Wonderland, where they just want tea. It's Britain all over again. I don't know where I was going with that. Xehanort, however, says that yes, they need to maintain order in the worlds already completely formed, but what if one of those worlds is a newborn? The order hasn't yet been formed. Hermod reasons that, maybe, in that case, the rules could be changed.
Which one's Hermod again?
Hermod is our blackish-brownish haired anime boy top.
Our lead singer.
Our lead. I thought Broggy was the lead singer.
Oh, I thought.
No, Broggy would be the bassist.
Yeah. I'm thinking of them all in band roles now, and that will help me. So thank you.
Who's the child?
Oh no, you got so you got Hermod, was the lead singer. You've got you've got flame-haired person, which is Broggy. You said Broggy is your bassist. Little girl's a drummer, and that's your lead guitarist. What's the name of the woman? Erd is the lead guitarist, and little girl, what's her name?
Ivor.
Ivor is your drummer.
Not Ivor, just Vor.
Vor is your drummer.
Which is a very unfortunate.
And I would actually go out and see that band. I don't think I'd like that band, but I go out and see them.
I disagree. I actually think they're in 4 separate bands.
So Hermod reasons that if the world's newborn and the order hasn't formed, maybe they could change the rules. The others question if this is even possible, but Eraqus says that he thinks Xehanort's point was that the instability of worlds could have something to do with why they disappeared.
Okay.
But without going there's no way that they can know how far along the worlds are with performing themselves. So they do. And the master told them to look in groups of 3, which is definitely just for gameplay mechanics. Whenever you party up, you will always have Eraqus in your party, and then you choose one of the other 4 to whoever you want.
Well, because they're besties, so Eraqus has to be there every step of the way.
Yeah.
So they all don their Keyblade armor, and they look like Power Rangers.
Come on, awesome.
Oh, so it's like Birth by Sleep, where they're on their little motorbikes and they're going to fly through space.
Then
Yeah, the armor's a motorbike. Remember, the armor always turns into a motorbike.
Well, they're going to summon a motorbike in a minute.
Of
So
course.
Well, they do this and they open a portal.
Oh, I mean, portals, I suppose.
I beg your
were
pardon.
the-
Wait, hold on.
They don their armor, then open a portal.
Eraqus, A, knows how to open a portal, and B, uses portals.
To be fair, they open portals in Birth by Sleep. They just happen to ride their motorbike through the portal.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
That's why when we got to Neverland, it was a big deal, the fact that Ven is flying through space and then falls off his motorbike. Eraqus could open portals this whole time.
But remember that portals in this game aren't like point to point. It's like portal into a realm where you can travel through a shorter distance. Also, it's not Eraqus opening the portals, it's Master Odin.
Okay. Do they know how to do that, out
No.
of curiosity? None of them know how to do that at this point. Okay.
Only the upperclassmen do.
So Odin doesn't... Wait, hold on. How are they getting home?
Odin will open it for them.
They're not getting home. They're not getting home. Odin doesn't teach them how to open a portal.
Send them away.
Oh.
I want to get home. Should we keep going?
Sorry, yes.
So Xehanort arrives in what appears to be Agrabah, and is immediately jumped by Heartless. Easy peasy defeated. They explore around, noticing that while the buildings are all complete, there's no people. And they kind of reason that this must be like a proto-Agrabah. It's not yet completed. And maybe the people are the last thing that become recompleted when a world is coming back. So they ask Xehanort if there were monsters on the world that he came from. And when he says no, they kind of reason that the monsters, that being the Heartless, roam free until such time as people are recompleted. Now, obviously, we know Heartless are still definitely there after the people. But, we'll let them think what they want to think.
Yeah, whatever helps.
Whatever helps them. So we learn that there are 2 types of Heartless, which we know, Emblem and Pureblood. Emblem Heartless existed in future worlds that were projected by the Book of Prophecies way ago. Hence, which is very interesting that we say that they only exist from the Book of Prophecies projections, because, of course, Xehanort hasn't yet been the creator of Emblem Heartless in, 100 years.
Yeah.
Which was definitely just an excuse to reuse Heartless designs without breaking continuity. But as that's the case, why are there Emblem Heartless here now? Maybe it's a clue. They question whether the students were attacked by Heartless, but note that none of the Heartless they fought were particularly very powerful, If they can deal with it, clearly the upperclassmen can. Yeah, so later on, though, they fight a considerably more powerful Heartless, noting that, they were able to beat it as a trio of people, but the upperclassmen would have been on their own, and they're like, how would they have fared? Would they have been able to deal with it on their own? Eraqus asks what the others would have done if they were alone and faced a strong Heartless. Xehanort responds immediately. Obviously, he would fight, while simultaneously the other student says they'd run away. Proving Eraqus' point that not everybody would act the same way. Ergo, the Heartless clearly can't be the reason for all of their disappearances, because would all of them have stayed to fight and then potentially died?
You've not got the armor to run away.
Who's there in the armors we're looking at here? We've got two at the front here with a sort of light blue on the left and another sort of blue purple on the right.
Oh, I will
Who's
have to
that?
remember.
Who's that? On the right?
I believe pink one is Yor.
That's
Or excuse me, is Vor, Little Magic Girl. I believe the orange armor is Broggy.
Flame hair.
The blue armor is Erd.
Oh.
The
Green is Eraqus.
green is Hermod.
Damn it.
The silver is Xehanort. And the black...
Okay,
makes sense.
right.
Matches
so
his hair.
Xehanort, why has he got a little crown on his?
Why has he got big?
Because he's the king. Hermod asks though what would happen if there were even stronger ones than the one they just fought. Ones that you can't run from. Eraqus jokes, he had run faster than I ever have before. Ha 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 ha.
Again, they've got armor not to run away in. They fight people. You've got keyblades. It's like a bunch of knights of the round table going, "Oh, I just run away if it was a baddie."
Well, no, but that's the point is...
If it's too powerful for them.
Well, don't be too powerful. Fight. You've got armor and a keyblade. Sora fought with Strong Heartless all by himself. Oh yeah, don't.
Sora's a chosen one!
And you can't just throw chosen one
These
around.
are still children in training.
There's 6 of them, and they've had more training than Sora did, and they're all the same age as Sora, and they're wearing armor Sora didn't have. You can't throw chosen one in the place of it. That's all I'm saying. Cowards.
Why don't you
Xehanort,
go and-
only one I'm rooting for.
Why don't you
not
go
just
and
because he's got-
marry Sora then?
Not just because Xehanort's got Sean Teal inside of him, which, I'm still, so therefore I'm rooting for Xehanort a little bit right now. But no, anyone who runs away, little coward. You look at you got your armor, you're a Power Ranger. You're not gonna bloody run away.
Monty can't wait until they all get norted.
So the three return from Proto Agrabah, Scala, where they talk with the other students about how they found strong Heartless but no people, and how the Heartless were strong enough that they weren't actually positive if even the upperclassmen could have fared well alone. Vor asks if they should report to the master, but Eraqus is all, "Nuh-uh, sister," and Xehanort's like, we're not doing that. And they're all, "We super strong Keyblade wielders, we don't need no master, gonna smash the heart, boys. Can you tell the part at which I was writing at 1 a.m? So they regroup. You can choose a different party member if you want, and they go off on a new mission.
Great.
Meanwhile, Xehanort has a flashback to the Destiny Islands back when Ansem arrives, where he's saying how he never really thought about who he was, not until who he, as in himself, was, not until he began to wonder about others like his weirdo classmates. He muses on about how the days are peaceful on the island, but boring. Comfortable, but like his old prison on the... Excuse me, this is in Scala. He muses on about his days in Scala are peaceful, but boring. Comfortable, but like his old prison on the beach. He questions if changing his world didn't change his outlook. Or if changing his world didn't change his outlook, is it maybe him? Is he the problem?
I do feel like that's quite cool of him to be able to recognize that in himself, because it is clearly him. Scala at Caelum seems very exciting. You're basically at, like, magic Keyblade school. We're learning about Keyblade things, and Destiny Islands was really just a soft, cozy place. Yeah, sorry. It's cool he's able to recognize that.
So his question is, like, how does he engage and interact with others? Maybe, that's what forms the girth of a heart. These minute influences from light and darkness. The trio lands in Wonderland, where Erd teases Eraqus about always being late. But is stopped by Xehanort, who tells them they're being watched.
Ooh.
Because above them appears the Cheshire Cat, who tells them that their friends are under lock and key.
Wow.
I hate Alice in
Oh, we like Alice in Wonderland. I do.
I think it's actually Kingdom Hearts that made me hate Alice in Wonderland
that's a shame.
because of the world in Kingdom Hearts 1, which is one of the worst worlds in the series. Anyway, so...
It always used to creep me out too much as a kid, reading it.
The cat tells them that their friends are under lock and key. They try to ask where, and the cat's all, cat's a little shit. It's like, whoo, where indeed? And disappears.
Oh, great. Thank you, Cheshire Cat. Useful as always.
But of course, being the Cheshire Cat immediately reappears, and it's like,
I changed my mind.
well, it's like, your answer will be here soon, and then disappears again as card shoulders.
Wait, your Ansem will be here soon.
Your answer.
It's way too early for that.
As expected, instantly card soldiers show up and try to cart them away, but run away because the trial is about to begin.
Right.
You know, they hear other cards come in, they're like, there's a trial! And they're like, oh, I'm coming.
This is Alice's trial.
The same trial that Sora deals with in Kingdom Hearts 1. Just to
So,
acknowledge that.
you know, out of the woods for now, Xehanort notes how the cards called them more intruders, implying that there were others before them. They run to the trial to see if it has anything to do with it, and turns out that the 3 that are on trial are the 3 other students who you didn't. So it's not Alice. So it's the 3 other students, the ones you didn't choose.
Wow.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So just whoever's not in your party.
Yeah, and they're having a shouting match with the queen. You know, as you do. Eraqus and Xehanort are looking on, and Eraqus is like ready to bust heads. He's got a keyblade out, but Xehanort's stopping him, asking if he's like, "Are you willing to attack innocent people? You know, we need to respect the world order, Eraqus. We can't do this."
Ooh, all right.
And Xehanort's like, "It's time for some tricksy little wordplay." So he runs in, trying to object to the Queen of Hearts, saying how they should have a jury of their peers, and you know, why are you in charge and all that? And then they get attacked by cards, because why would the Queen of Hearts ever listen to you?
And because they're, you know, Keyblade warriors, they cut down the cards like with one.
Oh yeah, not
It
even
takes them not even a second.
petition. Yeah.
Well. So they start to get attacked by cards, but before the cards can actually attack, Xehanort notices what appears to be a cloud of darkness behind the Queen.
Ooh.
But it disappears basically instantly.
The queen-
And then before the cards can attack, a boss Heartless shows up
Oh,
and knocks them aside. And the students fight that instead of the cards.
great.
Was the Queen one of the few people who was obviously in a realm that was encouraging the Heartless and stuff in KH1, but was maybe not fully aware of? Was the Queen on the council?
She was on the
She was
council
not
with
on the
Maleficent.
council.
She
No,
was not on-
with
she
wasn't.
Maleficent she
No,
was.
she wasn't.
Was she not?
No.
Oh.
I have another question about that council. Let's see.
Which is odd. She should have been.
Yeah, she's a villain.
Which I have another quick question about that council. We're going back to it again and again, Chase, and I apologise. The rewinding of the worlds. Let's say that the Queen of Hearts had been on that council, a la, you know, Captain Hook or Jafar or whoever else.
Oogie boogie.
How would they remember making a deal to join the baddies?
They did. Don't question it.
How would they remember it?
Because their mind gets wiped.
rewind every time and their mind gets
Right.
wiped.
Don't question it.
Answer that, Chase.
Don't question
Answer
it.
it.
Don't question it.
Don't
Yeah, she was.
question it.
So she. So
Anyhow.
yeah, she wasn't on that. She wasn't on that team though. Like the
No.
darkness is now appearing behind her.
Yes.
She's not like, I'm summoning a Heartless, this is just happening.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's the big difference. That's why she wasn't on council. She doesn't summon Heartless.
Yeah.
Like the other council members. You know, she just Heartless are there.
Boogie could do it.
Heartless are there, and she's like, "Cool, I'm okay with this."
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, you kill that, and they regroup post the battle, discussing that top Heartless was like crazy tough, you know. And they didn't realize how real the battles they'd face out of Heartless, out of Scala were, and that the real battle was the darkness in people's hearts all along.
Oh, yes.
Heavy stuff.
People are the true villains.
Yeah. The true monsters.
monsters,
sorry,
Guns don't kill people. They recognize the darkness.
I'd like to point out they do. They do. They absolutely do. Sorry, go on.
They recognize the darkness as how the queen rules with fear, but question if that's the way of the world. You know, if the queen ruling by fear using darkness is the order of this world, do they have the right to challenge it? You know, they're not allowed to question the order of other worlds. You know, just because they see it as bad, does it mean that it's bad in this world? You know, or is it all a matter of perspective?
Really enjoying the fact that this is so far a story just about 6 people, a gang, off on an adventure. Like, we got a wee troop going on here, and I'm enjoying that. It got to the action quite quickly. Maybe you've just shortened it for us, but...
Yeah, this was 4 years.
I skipped 80 cutscenes.
I am enjoying that the Eraqus and Xehanort dialogue. I'm enjoying this little sort of
And also how Xehanort is absolutely the better of the two.
yeah,
Like in every way.
yeah, really
Even
enjoying
morally.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
But Eraqus questions if maybe the upperclassmen were in a similar situation when their hands were tied. You know, maybe they were captured. They ask Xehanort, who suddenly has a flashback of Brain, telling the other Union leaders that darkness can hide anywhere, even inside of someone. And he thinks back to the darkness that he saw surrounding the Queen. Now, in unison, both he and Eraqus say that the darkness can hide anywhere, even inside of someone.
Ah, okay.
And they're both shocked and a bit weirded out by the fact they said the exact same thing at the same time, but they get ready to leave, choosing to believe in the lights in people's hearts.
How does Eraqus know that? Because Eraqus wasn't around in Union Cross.
He just knew the thing.
No, I feel like it's weird that he just knows that, because that seems like an old secret that died with age.
I mean, I feel like these ones are definitely interpreting it as lowercase darkness can hide in anyone's heart instead of uppercase darkness can hide in anyone's heart.
Because I'm beginning to think maybe Eraqus is Luciu. Brain, you know, the Luciu jumps from Brain to Eraqus, and that's how Eraqus knows.
But we saw Eraqus die.
This is true.
True, but by that point he might have bounced. Oh, but when he bounces, he kills someone, doesn't he?
Assumedly.
Yeah. So you're right.
We don't actually know that for certain, but assumedly.
Okay, fair enough. All my theories have been wrong so far, so it's fine. No, all of them have.
I'm
Every
waiting
single
for this
one.
game's version of the 4 tellers.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm waiting for an Ephemer's evil theory, you know?
But be much worse. At least you never said Goofy was a cow.
Yeah.
They get ready to leave, choosing that they're going to believe in the hearts and the people's lights and yada yada. But Eraqus takes Xehanort aside, asking if he's okay. And Xehanort's like, can darkness burrow so deep that even the person whose heart it's in doesn't know that it's there? You know, would you be able to turn your Keyblade on somebody who has no idea what they've become? You know, if they're full of darkness, but they don't know it. Would you be able to take them out?
Spoken like a true Chonteal, that's all I'm saying. I'm beginning to see a lot of Chonteal come through in Xehanort.
All that classic Chonteal dialogue we got.
You're now looking at Xehanort and Kingdom Hearts 3 through a whole new Chonteal lens. Eraqus and Xehanort decide to stay behind in Wonderland to keep investigating. And of course, one student joins them, so they have a full party. Cool. Whichever student goes with them is like, why are you being sneaky? You know, why are you staying behind? They're like, oh, we have a plan. But before they can tell the student what it is, Tweedledee and Tweedledum appear and chat.
You weren't anticipating that?
No, I keep forgetting we're doing Disney. Sorry, continue.
They have some chat and they get the moral that while curiosity can lead to courage in the face of the unknown, it can also lead to danger, which is, cool, good stuff.
Could say it could kill the cat.
Oh, no, it could kill the Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Right.
The student again tries to pry on what their plan is, but this time the Mad Hatter shows up. Oh. And then they escape from that again and comment on how, a lot of the characters are very silly and carefree. Under all that, there's a layer of fear. They all fear the Queen. That's how the order is maintained. Because all the characters fear her.
Yeah.
The Tweedles, however, are unlike the Queen. Their fear hasn't manifested in darkness. So it seems that not all negative emotion necessarily leads to darkness.
What?
Darkness comes from negative emotion, but not all negative emotion creates darkness. You can have negative emotion without creating darkness.
But fear does.
But does any level of fear create darkness?
Why do Tweedledum and Tweedledee not fear the Queen?
No, they do fear the Queen.
Right. But they fear her less than the Mad Hatter does. And as a result, Mad Hatter has darkness and they don't.
Seemingly.
Okay.
It's just... what you're meant to get out of this isn't the Disney bullshit. It's that negative emotion doesn't necessarily equate to darkness.
Yeah, okay.
But darkness does always equate to negative emotion.
Okay.
Yeah, all darkness comes out of negative emotion, but not all negative emotion creates darkness.
So, the student is all like, oh, so your plan is to investigate the Queen's darkness, cool shit. And Xehanort's like, well, I don't know if it's, actually darkness, obviously negative emotions might not be darkness. And I don't know if that's what did the upperclassmen's disappearance, but, as, we seem to be the first outsiders who have been here in a long while, so they probably didn't disappear here. But we might as well check it out. Because, 7 wielders disappearing simultaneously. That's gotta be darkness.
That's a lot.
So, they gotta chase the wielders. Ergo, if you find the Queen, you follow the darkness. And if you follow the darkness, you'll probably find the students.
Okay, right.
So, shenanigans later, they find the Queen. She's the worst. Mumbo Jumbo her up about light and darkness. She ain't got no time to chat. But, you know, we see the darkness around her. I would like to note, this isn't meant to be, like, one of the 13 darknesses. This is just meant to be, you know, darkness cloud surrounding an evil character who has darkness.
I guess the whole point of this, right, is Xehanort is beginning to study darkness. Yeah, okay.
He's starting to question darkness. You know, he's questioning, you know, what does her darkness come from? Is it her greed? Is it her wrath?
The first footstep down a dark road.
I feel like that was when he stepped through the portal.
Okay.
But
I forget how big the Queen of Hearts' mouth is.
I know, you can
Look at
eat
that.
one of their heads.
100%.
Xehanort notes how her darkness seems to come from wrath. When suddenly the darkness around her flares, forming a grim smile that seemingly only Xehanort notices. Queen's all off with their heads, and the boss Heartless comes back. The same one from before, maybe bored of her inner darkness, questionable, and you beat it. And then you go home.
Great.
Woo! Bye.
That was good. So they didn't really learn much. Well, Xehanort learned a bit about darkness, but they didn't find their friends.
They didn't learn much, but they I think, started asking the right questions and started formulating the right plan.
Okay.
They return from Wonderland to go back to Scala, where they try and decide which darkness they want to follow next. Xehanort notes how a single light can cast countless shadows, and as light guardians, it's likely the more they venture forth, the more darkness is going to follow them. As Xehanort's theory goes, their existence is birthing more darkness, and as such, the upperclassmen may have also attracted darkness by going out. Now, Erd stops them, saying how she gets the Keyblade wielders exist as a light to keep the natural darkness in balance, but that there's a big difference between light leading darkness and darkness leading to light. Ooh, spooky. And Vor's like, I don't think darkness hides inside people. You know,
Erd, you're wrong.
Wait.
We just had a whole game that clarifies that it does that.
I read the line wrong. Redo. Vor says how she didn't
think that the light hidden inside people would be easy to track. Let me finish my sentences, Monty.
Sorry.
Bragi continues on with how Master Odin taught them that when negativity deep inside someone's heart grows beyond the bounds, darkness is born. And they don't currently know if the Queen's darkness was her own, or, you know, if she was aware of it. She might have just been, you know, a mean lady.
She was a mean lady.
Do we think what we've learned over the past few games is that if all of the Keyblade wielders had just stayed in and had a cup of tea, there'd be a lot less darkness in the world?
Perhaps. Is it all their fault? Maybe. So he continues that maybe, though, in that world it does matter because the order's different, you know. In Wonderland, the order is that a evil queen rules from fear. Perhaps light being right and darkness being wrong doesn't actually hold there. It's all just a matter of perspective. Eraqus doesn't have any time for that chat, firmly being like, you know, don't, you know, darkness is evil. And remember your place. Sit down, son.
I don't want to agree with Eraqus, right? But, you know, I kind of agree with Eraqus there, which is that darkness is still wrong. The Queen of Hearts is a bad woman. She does bad things.
Well, yes, but as Keyblade wielders, I think the question is more, is it their purpose or their point to change that?
Well, it should be,
But,
I would argue.
I mean, it's not, though. They're not allowed to change the order of worlds.
Yeah, but that's a problem. That's just a mistake with the order of Scala at Caelum. And
But so are they just like super cops that gonna come in and decide what?
Right, yeah, I'm
what they want to do.
I'm kind of
Interventionism.
kind of describing Team America World Police there, aren't I? Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's
Yeah.
not great.
Are you Team Xehanort or Team Eraqus? Let's keep the dial going through the whole video. See which team you're on.
I am Team Chonteal.
Well, that's
Xehanort it is.
Xehanort,
Yeah.
So Eraqus is like, I hope that you're not losing sight of, you know, what you're meant to be. And Xehanort's like, no, you're good. I'm good. And I'm like, you know, the students face darkness. And in the world they were, if the order declared that darkness was superior, perhaps that made the darkness stronger there, and that's why the darkness was defeated. But, you know, Eraqus is like, no way, Jose.
He's just Fox News, man. He's just asking questions. Just asking questions.
Yikes.
To be fair, I feel like Xehanort's asking good questions.
Absolutely true. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, maybe not Fox
Let's
News.
research some of this.
Yeah, you googled it.
No.
Hermod gets between them, calming Eraqus and saying that if searching for the students means delving further into the mysteries of darkness, considering all possibilities, then that's what they need to do. We flash forward 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Where we see Xehanort placing flowers at a grave.
Oh.
In Scala. There are 4 graves in total, and a voice from off screen asks him if he's leaving. Eraqus walks into frame, reminiscing on the good times and trying to stop Xehanort from leaving. Eraqus tells him that it wasn't his fault, but Xehanort leaves it at wanting to see more of what's out there before their Mark of Mastery exam.
Oh, okay, so the other 4 die somehow, but God knows how.
Well, I mean, is this those 4?
That's a lot of graves.
A lot of dead Keyblade wielders.
Yeah.
I feel like if you only have one graveyard for your entire city. Eraqus is like, he's trying to dissuade him. He's like, we've already been out there. We've seen the worlds. There's so much time till the exam. We've got ages. And Xehanort's like, we've seen a lot. We've not seen everything. I need to see everything to, answer all my questions.
Okay.
Eraqus asks it, what is it that you're looking for? But Xehanort just walks away without answering. Eraqus calls after him, saying how he better come back because they have a score to settle. Eraqus is at 117 wins, 312 loses, and 8 draws. Xehanort corrects him. He's like, no. 107 wins, 323 losses, and 7 draws.
There's not scored settled there. Xehanort's losing.
Like, no. Xehanort's absolutely winning.
117 wins and 302 losses.
No.
That's for Eraqus.
Oh.
That's right. Eraqus needs to settle a score.
Right.
He needs to beat Xehanort in chess.
150 more times.
Eraqus, pleased that he got Xehanort to turn around, wishes him well, saying that he'll see him soon. They're still besties. And now we enter chapter 4.
At what point did the recent chapter come out? Is the final list of chapters?
Chapters 4 through 7 all came out less than a month ago.
Wow, this is new territory.
This is new territory
Brand
within
new.
the last month.
This is exciting. That's exciting.
We're on the fresh edge. The theories are hot.
Yeah.
The theories are fresh off the press.
Leading edge of theories here, listener.
Don't say we're not recent and current.
We are right on
Are
it.
you excited to hear Monty and I bumble our way through it?
Oh, okay. So we returned to 1 year ago, where we're met by a very familiar scene. Xehanort and Eraqus sit playing a game of chess in the classroom.
It's not chess, though, is it?
Where Xehanort asks Eric,
It does cost $500, though.
You can't play it. Remember, you can't play it. It's not got rules.
Where Xehanort asks Eraqus if he's familiar with the Great Keyblade War.
Oh, it's the Kingdom Hearts 3?
He questions what the ancient Keyblade wielders intended to do with Kingdom Hearts after making it appear. Xehanort continues on, asking if Eraqus knows of the Lost Masters who started the war, or for whom the Keyblade War started. He looks up at the mantle above the fireplace, where mounted is a familiar Keyblade, No Name. He mentions how the gazing eye sees the fate of the world, and that the future is fixed, referring to the last page of the Book of Prophecies that said that darkness would prevail. Eraqus isn't so sure, though, saying how he doesn't believe that the future is set, and that maybe light will prevail. After all, who's to say that he can't change it? Unlike darkness, he tells Xehanort, light has more to it than meets the eye, with Xehanort responding, saying he hopes so.
That's the Kingdom Hearts 3 scene.
It is. Doesn't it also mean just so much more in context now that we've done Unicross?
It does.
So, elsewhere, back in the present time, Vor arrives at what appears to be the evil queen's castle in the Dwarven Woodlands.
Right.
Wandering around trying to find anyone, she mistakenly stumbles upon the evil queen, asking the magic mirror who will rule over all forever. With it responding, "You will, my queen."
the queen leaves.
Have we had this conversation before? Feels like we've had this conversation before.
Let's be real. Even without the rewind, the queen absolutely asks that like
Every
daily.
day, yeah.
Good point.
Self-confidence as she's in it. Am I a good queen? You are my queen. But am I really?
She's just an insecure lady, bless her.
So the queen leaves, and seeing that the mirror knows all answers, Vor approaches it. Sometime later, Eraqus and Xehanort find Vor wandering the woodland, teasing her about wanting to come along, then going off on her own and getting lost. They overhear the dwarves mentioning something about a cave-in, and Vor runs to help, quickly followed by Eraqus, who chases after her. They get to the cave, offering to help. Vor approaches the boulders, drawing her Keyblade, which Xehanort says is a good idea. before she just simply puts away the keyboard and yeets the boulder away, freeing the dwarves. She just, like, manhandles it, just yeets a boulder.
Wow.
Strong little girl.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Suddenly, Heartless attack, suspecting the Heartless to be the cause of the cave-in. They send the dwarves to safety, and they take out the Heartless. Good shit. Now, with the Heartless defeated, Eraqus says how he doesn't think that defeating random Heartless is really going to help them with chasing darkness. But Vor's like, no, we'll be good because there's a castle. The castle's pretty spooky, and also it has a mirror that will tell us anything we want to know.
Right, yeah.
Let's go.
It's interesting we're getting Birth by Sleep parallels a little bit there with that. With just the fact that they're going there, of all places, you know. It's just fun. It's just fun.
A little bit.
So Xehanort's intrigued by the mirror, and follows Vor to it. They approach with it asking what they want to know, and Eraqus, of course, runs forward first, asking how to beat Xehanort in chess. This silly little scoundrel.
Such a loser, man. I can't with the Eraqus.
Oh, I love Eraqus. He's just a good boy. Why do you like Ven, but you don't like Eraqus?
Because Ven never got anyone killed. No, wait a minute. Sorry, I take it back.
For those who are confused, please go back and listen to the Union Cross episodes.
Yes, yeah.
So Xehanort tells the mirror to ignore him and walks forward, telling it of the missing classmates. The mirror proceeds to tell them that the friends they seek travel hither and yon, along separate paths, alone they forge on.
That is not useful. It's like the Cheshire Cat all over again. Yeah. The Disney characters need to get their act together.
They're fucking somewhere.
They're somewhere, but alone. Woo! So they decide to look for them then one at a time. Eraqus begins to ask where one named Vidar is, before suddenly the queen enters, shouting at the mirror to remember who it serves. Eraqus tries to apologize for barging in, asking her, maybe we have permission to ask the mirror a question. We just want to, figure some stuff out. She relents. She's, okay, you can ask a mirror. But then she yeets a potion at it like she did Birth by Sleep. And the trio is sucked into the mirror where it has to fight the face.
Yeah, we did this before.
We've done this before. We've been here. So they escape the mirror where they see the queen is gone and again go to ask where Vidar is. But suddenly they're stopped when a voice behind them tells them it won't be necessary because it's very fucking conveniently Vidar.
Whoa.
Okay, why are you here? Thought y'all went missing.
So he tells them that he suspected that they'd show up sooner or later, presuming Master Odin sent them. Eraqus asks if he knew, then why didn't he just come home? Vidar ignores him, saying how, you must be Xehanort, the visitant. I see why you caught the Master's eye. There's something different about you. Ooh. He turns to Vor, saying how there's something on her mind. She's wondering if she really belongs with these friends. So he tells her to join him instead, much to Xehanort and Eraqus' shock. Gasp. Eraqus is like, what do you mean? Aren't you coming home? And Vidar replies, not yet. There's something that we need to do. Xehanort asks what it is, and he gets, a classic, you'll see.
Oh, love it, yeah.
Classic.
No one finishes a thought.
Yeah.
Vidar returns back to Vor, saying that he needs her help. Eraqus tries to get between them, saying that surely she'll stay with them, but it turns out that she asked the mirror a question of her own, back at the start. We flash back to see Vor ask if she'll become a Keyblade Master. The mirror tells her that with friends thy hearth doth lie, content and free of woe. In comfort, stagnant, calm, forward thou fail to go. She tells the mirror it's lying. She wants to be a Keyblade Master as much as anybody else, but the mirror cannot lie. We come back to the present where she reveals she's too nervous about them passing the marks, because if they do, they're all going to go their separate ways, so she doesn't want to pass, because she doesn't want to lose her friends. Eraqus tries to reassure her, saying, we'll be the same, we're still going to be friends after it.
Reassures her, saying, you're not going to pass. Come on.
But the rest of us are. We are still going to leave you. Goodbye. So
yeah, your plan revolves on, hinges on all of us failing. That's not what's going to happen here.
So Eraqus is like, no, it's going to be fine. We're still going to be friends. Xehanort, meanwhile, is like, nah, change is inevitable. You should embrace it. Learn to form some new relationships, man.
This will be good for you. Goodbye.
Eraqus is fully dejected at Xehanort not backing him up, who looks on Vor as she tells him that she's made up her mind. She needs to leave the bubble if she wants to grow, and she leaves through a portal with Vidar.
Great.
So we've lost one of our friends to the supposedly missing, potentially not missing, potentially just hiding and running away.
So did we find out why Vito was there?
Oh, we will. Well, I mean, in this context, it's because you wanted Vor.
They use darkness, right? That's what we're doing. She came through a dark portal. She's about to take her away and corrupt her, and that's why.
One, it's a guy. Two, it wasn't a dark portal.
Oh, oh, okay.
It's just a normal portal. Let everybody be spooky and mysterious for a while. Get your answers in time.
It's just like they're their colleagues. Like, can you imagine, like, if like, Monty, imagine you and I work together in an office, and imagine you, like, sent me an email saying, have you done this thing I asked you to do? And I responded going, you will see in time.
Sounds like something you'd do.
So we flash to a scene of them all in the classroom with Vor asking why they all want to become Keyblade Masters.
Right.
Eraqus begins saying how originally it felt like an obligation, but, you know, family tradition and all. But now he knows that he needs to put a stop to the darkness once and for all. The others give variations of, you know, doing what's right, seeing the world, yada yada, except obviously Xehanort, who says that he doesn't know why he wants to be, only that he has friends that he wants to see again one day, referring to his dream friends. Broggy asks, why does that require being a Keyblade Master? And Xehanort simply looks forlorn out the window, like the emo he is. They turn the question back on Vor, asking why she does, but she teasingly says that wishes don't come true if you say them out loud. So none of you are becoming Keyblade Masters, haha! I tricked you.
Not a fan of Vordy.
64 years later,
Well,
alright.
okay.
we see now a much older Xehanort in a form we're very familiar with, return to the mirror.
Bald goatee.
Bald goatee, little hunchback.
Yeah.
He asks the mirror if it remembers him. He asks the mirror if it remembers him, and it tells him that it remembers him being a bit less bald.
Oh. Rude. Big words from a skeleton in glass. You're like... Bloody hell.
To be fair, it's not the kind of hair you expect.
So Xehanort walks up, and he tells it that over the years he's lost many comrades. Some passed on, and some chose other paths. He tells him that he'll always have a space in his heart for those friends that he saw in his dreams, though he never left. Save, of course, for one. He continues to ask, were they actually real? It responds that much lies beyond our world, even beyond our time. Some in this world reside. Their toll is yet to chime.
Woo! Some of them are still alive.
Xehanort asks how it can be so sure without even knowing their names, as he lunges forward, trying to, like, punch the mirror. The mirror responds that his heart speaks more clearly than his words. He regains his composure, and Xehanort asks where they are. It tells him that amongst an ocean of keys, on a vast barren land, a boy bearing great light and darkness doth stand.
I wonder where that is.
I wonder who that is. Immediately recognizing the Keyblade Graveyard. Keyblade Graveyard. He rushes to leave.
Cool.
54 years after the events of this, ergo 10 years prior to that last scene there.
Okay.
So,
Why? Just do them in order. Don't jump ahead, then jump slightly ahead and backwards.
that was the end of chapter 4. This is now chapter 5.
Ooh, okay.
So a further 54 years later, after the events of the missing students incident, we see Xehanort leaving Eraqus in the land of departure. It seems to be after that conversation that we saw in Birth by Sleep, of Xehanort having just asked about the Keyblade. You know, when they have their big fight?
Yes.
Yes. So Eraqus confronts Xehanort, saying that there's a reason that knowledge is banned, and asking if he would blanket the world in darkness and reduce them to nothing.
I have a question about this, because you might remember that back when we did Birth by Sleep, we questioned why Eraqus would let this creepy man into the exam to help judge. Obviously they're friends, but presumably we are building to a moment where the two of them part ways, because they have...
Well, this is the moment.
This is the moment.
And then they make up after this.
Right, but...
Xehanort sends him a very nicely worded letter.
Yeah, so we're really just doubling down on the letter it undoes presumably some horrible stuff that we're about to see Xehanort do across a few years where they fall apart. We're really... Does this undo our criticism is my question of why would Eraqus let Xehanort in?
Here?
He just says that he wants to, you know...
I don't mean here. I mean as a young boy when they fell out. Because we know they fell out.
No, we don't.
Do they not?
Not that we know.
I thought they fell out when they were young.
No, they fell out here.
Oh. Wow, Eraqus has been, like, putting up with this guy for, like, 100 years.
Yeah.
50 years, sorry. 50 years.
Yeah, they're in like their 60s, 70s.
Eraqus is the worst, man. Alright, continue.
Well, I mean, who says that he's a spooky evil guy?
The picture. And the things that he says and does.
Look, he's got a very kind grandfatherly smile there.
Oh, yes, and the evil yellow eyes and the pointed ears, which have evolved over 50 years, tell us nothing. Sorry, Chase. Continue.
I don't want to bring it up, but we're having a few pints. What's going on with the ears, buddy? Nothing.
Back to the Keyblade grave.
Keyblade doctors.
Xehanort can't let it go, needing answers to whether they're worthy of the ultimate light. He must forge the Keyblade, and with it unlock the door to Keyblade Hearts.
Oh, yes, Keyblade ball.
Eraqus tells Xehanort that he won't allow Xehanort to risk an apocalypse, but he's countered that darkness is only a beginning, not an end, as he sees it. After all, were we not all born as part of the darkness? Seeing words won't stop him, Eraqus summons his Keyblade and attacks Xehanort, who surrounds himself with darkness. Blast, blast, shooting Eraqus. He asks if darkness has taken him, but Xehanort tells him it's not his concern. Xehanort leaves as Eraqus says that he knew it. Xehanort could never let it go. We flash back to their childhood, 7 years after the search for the upperclassmen, where we see Xehanort and Eraqus facing each other.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why are they fighting?
You wanted them to fight as children.
Yeah, I know, but I want to know why they're fighting in this instance. Continue the story, Chase. Also, why is Winnie the Pooh's face in the background as part of the crest of arms? The little Winnie the Pooh's face. Sorry.
Hidden Winnies.
So they're facing each other. Xehanort is now holding no name, so he has inherited the Keyblade. And Eraqus, of course, has his normal one, which we now know is Brain's Keyblade originally, that he passed at Ephemer, and which now seems to have been passed down through generations.
How did Xehanort inherit No Name? Because No Name didn't seem like it was a Keyblade that was passed down and passed down. It was in on the classroom wall.
That seems like it was.
So he just stole it, presumably.
No, he's given it.
He was given it.
Yeah.
By the teacher.
Yeah.
So sort of upon graduating.
Odin looked at Xehanort, this guy, and went, "You know, you're the right guy for No Name."
Yes.
He is currently, as far as we know him in that past time, the most morally correct member of that class.
Fair enough. Okay.
Eraqus asks Xehanort if his mind is made up, and Xehanort says that Kingdom Hearts is the only way. This is a path that they must take as Keyblade wielders. Eraqus says how they'd only just become masters a year ago, and now this. Xehanort tells him that they were both given a title, but only Eraqus is a true heir. Eraqus counters that Xehanort too was bequeathed the Keyblade from the era of the Lost Masters, having been supposed to inherit their resolve alongside the weapon.
Right.
So, no name.
He says he's a true heir, so what, is he maybe like Brain's great-great-grandson or something?
He's a true heir.
It's been a long day.
Xehanort assures him that though he's thought long in the 9 years that he's been in Scala, about what it means to protect the world, his decision to summon Kingdom Hearts doesn't come easily to him. Eraqus counters, asking him how he can be so sure that it's the right answer, but Xehanort returns, "How can you be sure that it's not?" Looking sad, as he readies his Keyblade, Eraqus says that life has taught them far different lessons. Xehanort asks if he stands in his way as a true Keyblade master, but Eraqus responds that no, as a true friend, as they fight.
Awesome.
So this was the one that kind of broke them up in their childhood.
Right.
And
years later, after his fight, Eraqus went, "You know, that guy I fought over our deep philosophical and moral differences, I'm going to invite him along to you."
Given the wording of that last scene we saw, it seems that Eraqus thought that he had given it up, the hunt for Kingdom Hearts, but then they had that conversation, and he's like, "Oh, no, you didn't. Oops."
Why would he think that?
So returning to the present, we find the students in their classroom where they're trying hard to find Odin after Vor left with Vidar. They're not really sure whether they should continue their task after this. It feels a bit weird. Hermod and Erd vote to keep going, saying that it's Master Odin, what Master Odin would have wanted, but Bragi's like, leave Vor behind? You know, maybe we shouldn't keep doing it with Vor gone? Hermod's like, no, don't worry. We're going to see Vor later. She'll be fine. We're going to see her later. And Eraqus is like, I don't know, man. You know, what Vor said felt like, you know, a forever goodbye. It feels like we're not going to see her again.
Sorry, Chase, who wins this fight?
Oh, we don't see. We never see a winner. I think that it's just meant to show that they did fight. But we never see a winner.
Okay, is Xehanort in the room while they're having this current discussion?
No, this is
back in the
time.
present.
Sorry.
This is the present.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Oh, God, I'm losing it with this one.
Around.
Yeah, the jumping is too much currently. Continue. Sorry.
I think you need more drinks.
No, I was following and then I wasn't, and this is convoluted. We're going back to a good old-fashioned convolutedness. Continue.
So Eraqus is like, Vor feels like Vor was saying goodbye forever. You know, she doesn't intend to see us again. And you know, I want to go find her. We gotta go find her. Let's go to the Dwarf Woodlands. We're gonna ask the mirror where she is. And everybody's like, yeah, except for Xehanort, of course, who's like, no, I think we should stick to, you know, finding the upperclassmen. You know, once Vidar completes his task, him and Vor are going to come home like they said they would. And Eraqus is like, well, Vidar's just using Vor to complete his goal. And Xehanort's like, she's tough. She'll be fine. You know, it's all good. She's going to be great. And Eraqus is like, I thought you cared about your friend. Which, dick move. Eraqus is Xehanort's like, don't I? What about you? Would a friend try to manipulate someone's beliefs just because they don't line up with their own? And he's like, ooh, sassy.
Snap.
Snap. Eraqus counters that a good friend would help another see the error of their ways. But Xehanort responds that who's to decide what's right and wrong?
Yeah.
Unless Eraqus knows of somebody who has a heart of pure light and no trace of shadows, of course. I wonder who that could be. So Eraqus is like, well, that's what a Keyblade Master is. Somebody of pure light. That's what I want to become. And Xehanort's like, I don't know, man. This just feels like a title. You know, it's just what you make of it. Finally, Erd's like, back it up, kids. Separate. I'm playing mom here. Go away. Eraqus asks Bragi if he's coming with them, and the pair depart. Hermod asks Xehanort if he's sure about this, and Xehanort's like, you know, we're taking different paths, but we're going to reach the same goal at the end. You know, it's all good. Eraqus should let his heart be his guiding key. Go do what he thinks
That
is
works
good.
so well with the unions taking different paths to the same goal.
Yeah, good point.
That works great. So they decide the mirror's a bust, and the three remaining don their armor and warp to another world. Elsewhere, on top of the tower, Vidar returns to Scala, approaching Master Odin at the top of the tower, telling the Master that he's come to say goodbye. Before he can finish the statement, though, Odin tells him that darkness, like no other, may soon be upon them. Vidar's like, yeah, duh, the Heartless are everywhere. And Odin's like, no. True darkness.
So Odin knew that the upperclassmen were fine, presumably. And he still sent these kids off on an adventure to go and get them. Like, they're having a conversation.
He's pulling a Yen Sid.
He's pulling a Yen
Only we
Sid.
know where he got it from.
Useless wizards. Yes.
It is a very generic-looking Gandalf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably, honestly, probably the worst design in Kingdom Hearts history, I would say.
Which is weird, because it's like, in itself, not a bad design. It's just, when you put it next to anything else in the series,
Yeah.
it's very plain. So he's like, they're coming. We doomed. And Odin continues to tell Vidar what we know. 7 were trapped in the Lost Masters, 4 were trapped in the Realm Between. And the 2 remaining were said to have been destroyed in the world's collapse, but there's no evidence that those last 2 were actually destroyed.
Right.
Vidar then asks the Master if he thinks that those 2 are returns, and the Master's like, maybe. It seems likely. Vidar, you know, you gotta remember that the unknown that you fear can't simply be regarded as darkness, you know. It's just an unknown. It might be light. Who knows? You don't know what it is. You need to learn to distinguish between the many different types of shadows, true darkness being an exception. You gotta be ready, kid. You're not ready yet.
Fix your shit.
Whose job was that to get me ready over the last 10 years?
I'd like to say how Monty has just been sat here with his head in his hands for like the whole of the Dark Road bit so far.
I'm listening. I'm following.
This feels like it's back to like Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance when you were just fully like...
I'm not gonna lie, so far it's a major dip from Union Cross for me. I was really quite hooked by Union Cross. This feels like nothing new is being explained. And I'm guessing you're building to something, and that's great. But right now it's useless characters being useless. And
well, to be fair, it's not meant to really be, you know, big lore reveals. It's more meant to be kind of philosophically how Xehanort became Xehanort.
Okay, so we'd be engaging with this the way you should be engaged with, arguably, then. We're questioning characters and things
Yeah, it's meant to be like a philosophical journey.
Okay. Sure.
So, back to Xehanort. His trio arrives at the Beast's castle.
Like, oh my gosh, it's so dark.
Oh, man's castle.
No, not yet.
They're like, oh my gosh, it's so dark spooky. Eraqus would definitely run away from this, little coward boy.
What?
It's like a running joke constantly about how Eraqus is a coward and will absolutely run away at the slightest.
Classic Eraqus.
No wonder Eraqus turned into such a prick getting treated like this.
It's like a running joke. To be fair, he even jokes about it himself, but at the same time, Eraqus and Bragi also arrive at the castle. Excuse me, they arrive at the Queen's castle, Dwarven Woodlands. They're watching the Queen, and they're like, she's very self-absorbed. She keeps looking at this mirror. She's not going to leave. We need a different plan. So back at the Beast Castle, we meet Lumiere, Cogsworth, blah, 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 blah. They want to use Erd as a replacement bell. They're like, oh my gosh, pretty girl.
They want to use Erd as a replacement bell.
Well, what? Question.
To sell her off to the Beast.
Yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, a pretty girl. You can fall in love with the Master. Oh my gosh, wow.
But Belle
Well,
doesn't get sold off to the Beast. What?
Well, I mean, I call replacement Bell, but honestly, we don't know at what point in this story this comes. So maybe this is before Bell got there.
No.
Pre-Bell.
It's all happening in the span of the movie, remember?
A pre-replacement Bell. Well, yes, but this is the part where Belle is still singing the opening number.
Oh, I see.
So she's not hit the castle yet.
Yeah.
She'll be here soon.
All the villagers be really mean to her because she walks around and she's like,
knows how to
I
read."
read and you don't. And they're like, why are you being such a shit about this? Like,
Your favorite Disney
I love.
princess.
I was
I
about to
love-
say,
I
shit
love-
talking your favorite Disney princess.
favorite Disney princess, best Disney princess, hands down.
Yeah. They learned that a while ago, 2 visitors came to the castle and stole the Beast's rose. Ooh. The trio questioned if maybe it was the upperclassmen. They're not really sure why they'd think that. And they're like, oh, we gotta go talk to the Beast. So they go beat some Heartless with him, and he's like, oh, I've seen keys like yours before. Bad by those who stole the rose. And they're like, crap. I guess we'll help get the rose back. Let us help. And Beast's like, no, don't do it. And he chases them out of the room.
Right. Classic Beast.
Yeah.
Classic Beast.
No, don't do that.
That's that over.
There is a Beast boss battle there.
Oh, poor Beast.
Unimportant. Knowing that they can't turn their weapons on a resident of that world, they leave. And outside the Beast's room, they question why the upperclassmen stole a rose. You know, was this a part of their exam? While going to return to tell the others what they learned, they're attacked by a Heartless. Erd gets split off from the group while chasing one that ran away and is surrounded in the ballroom. Xehanort and Hermod are in the lobby, in the foyer. With a call of "May her heart be your guiding key," she leaps into battle. Back in the main hall, Hermod and Xehanort are struggling with even just one of the Heartless. They finish it off and run for Erd while Hermod checks on the castle residents.
Oh, dead. Oh no, dead.
Back in the hall, Erd is struggling to fend off this group when suddenly she's saved by a woman with long silver hair bearing her own keyblade. The woman makes swift work of the remaining Heartless, taking them out in one magical attack. Erd recognizes her as Vala, one of the remaining upperclassmen that they're looking for.
Okay.
Are you liking the names?
The names are beginning to become a lot.
There's still 5.
Erd, Vala, Verd, and
There's 5 more.
Viggo Mortensen. They're
We'll get there.
bloody everywhere, all the V's.
Vala's like, you are a light that shines brilliantly in the face of chaos, and that feels slightly like it's a gay awakening.
Oh yeah, 100%.
and
This older girl
here-
crashing through the ceiling and like saving her life. You are the light that like unbelievably so.
Sorry. So what's her name?
That's Yor.
Yor.
Or excuse me, I keep calling her Yor. That's Erd.
Erd, the
Erd
lead
Vala.
guitarist of the band, is in the Beast's ballroom, and Vala, which is one of the upperclassmen that we've never met
Crashed through a
before.
window and rescued her.
Cool. Great.
Leaped off a balcony and told her that she was a light shining in the face of chaos.
She's awakening something in our wee Erd. She's doing her thing.
So she tells her, much to Erd's surprise, that she's been waiting for her.
Why?
Erd asks why she's been if she's been waiting, why she's been hiding. You know, Vala says that she's been watching. She had to be right to determine whether or not Erd was capable of helping them complete their goal. She asks if that goal is the same one as Vidar, and Vala laughs, saying, you ask a lot of questions. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, just tell us what you're doing.
You're so silly, asking so many questions.
No, shut up, Val. What's your plan? It's so annoying. What is your plan? What do you do?
Erd tells her that it's her mission to bring Vala back, not to go with, what she says or what she does. And Vala's like, oh, it's a shame. But you don't worry, we're going to meet again soon. Sooner than you think. Haha. And then she asks her to keep her light shining bright. Oh, and also to return this. And a ninja boy jumps down. He leaps from the sky with the lost rose and throws it to her. And then the two fuck off.
So they were luring them there to
Yeah,
test them.
basically.
Test them for what? That's the
To see if they
question.
could join their cause.
What's their cause?
We don't know.
No.
As they throw Erd the rose and run off, the camera pans over to the entrance of the ballroom where we see that Xehanort has been stood there the whole time just watching. He questions what they meant by... Oh, I forgot to mention, Vala tells Erd that the rose is essential to the world's order, and Xehanort questions this as it goes to him.
And we know that it is, to be fair. That's absolutely...
Yeah, so we know. But I think that Xehanort, one of the big themes is Xehanort's questioning what world's orders really are, and what makes a world order and how they differ and all that.
He seems to be very in favor still of keeping to the world order, is he? He's not
For now,
messing with
yes.
stuff. Okay.
And I'd honestly argue that even in Kingdom Hearts 3, he still is. But we'll get there later. Like, he's all for keeping it. He just wants to rewrite it. So the trio regroup and return to the beast, give him the rose, go home. 1 year later, because we love our time jumps, we are now in Chapter 6. We see Xehanort clad in his Keyblade armor, traversing a corridor of darkness. Xehanort has now been selected for the Mark of Mastery. As with the upperclassmen, this meant journeying out to distant worlds to broaden their horizons. He notes that for the upperclassmen, this journey led to a series of unfortunate events, noting how journeying out again is eliciting this emotion in his heart again, and saying how the past years had an impact, or perhaps the feelings have been there since leaving the island and are only now just coming to the surface. Spooky, spooky. He continues on how turbulent the emotions of the Dark Corridor are too much to bear. It could devour him. Yet, even with this armor protecting him, he can feel the darkness leeching its way into his heart every time he travels. That said, he believes that his heart is strong enough to weather the maelstrom, to achieve his destiny, and he removes his armor.
Oh.
He instantly clutches at his chest and falls to the ground as a robed figure approaches him saying, "Oh, so you're the singularity." The scene shifts, and Xehanort and the Roby are now in the desert outskirts of the Keyblade graveyard. Xehanort wakes up as the Roby goes, "Morning."
Oh,
is
no.
it MOM? Is it
So,
Masters?
to be very transparent, because we won't actually get into this until we record Remind,
Okay.
this scene is in Remind.
Okay.
Ooh, really?
So this had already been known for about 2 years. This, as with the scenes in Union Cross, is an extended cut. Well, technically, it's a later scene with the Master of Masters that's seen in Remind.
Right.
This first scene, this first meeting, was not seen in Remind.
Right.
We'll get back to it when we do Remind, with the Remind context, but if you couldn't already tell, yes, it is the Master of Masters.
You know what it's like, though. You always pep up when the Master of Masters comes into a scene, don't you?
Yeah, it's our boy. Why is he
silly.
here?
Oh,
Why
yeah.
does Xehanort know the mom?
Love it.
So
He's
Xehanort-
always, you've got my sword, right? That's probably
Well, he's got
deal.
his previous memories. That's why he knows him.
Also that, too. Yeah, he's got Chantil's memories.
Chantil didn't know the mom.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Xehanort's like, "Who are you?" And the Roby's like, "Well, I could introduce myself as, Theodore or Jack, but would that really prove who I am?" And Xehanort's like, "Oh," and the Roby's like, "I saved your life." The mom's like, "I saved your life. Come on, some respect, please." He's like, "I was taking a leisurely stroll through a corridor of darkness, and I found you just passed out with no protection. What were you doing? You thought your heart was strong or something? No armor? Did you just take a wrong turn somewhere? Are you a tourist?"
Oh, he's the worst, but he's great. He's a silly, goofy guy.
Xehanort's like, "If you know all that, why were you there?" And the Roby's like, No. Calm down. Come here, sit, talk. Now the two sit.
And the room
Chase, I feel like you've been rehearsing your entire life to be the voice actor for the Master of Masters. You'd smash it, but that's all I'm saying. This is great.
So the two sit, and the mom tells him that he used to be a Keyblade wielder, more or less. I feel like that's more important than it's let on in this game. The more or less, I don't know. We don't have an answer.
I made all of the Keyblades. Is that the more?
Potentially. And Xehanort's like, well, I never heard of you. And they're always like, well, I used to be, more or less. So Xehanort draws his Keyblade. He's like, I'm sus. How am I going to trust you? And Xehanort, you know the thing in Kingdom Hearts 1 where Riku's like, oh, is that a Keyblade? Wow. That's mine now. And it like teleports. Yeah. The Master of Masters is the same thing. It just like teleports Xehanort's Keyblade into his hand.
Cool sword you got there. It's got an eye in it. Wham.
Oh, no. To be clear, at this point, he still had the trainee sword. So like the blue star one.
Oh, okay.
Mom's like, ta-da, see? Trust me now. And Xehanort's like, even less. Roby poo-poos him and tells him that in any case, don't go in the corridor unexposed. That's not great. And he gives him a gift. One of his black cloaks. Telling him that, well, it's a little out of fashion compared to the armor of this age. It provides far superior protection against the darkness. Xehanort's like, are you some kind of traveling salesman? You trying to sell me the robe? And Mom's like, nah, it's free. It's free. And Xehanort's like, I trust you even less now. Who are you? Now Mom's like, how'd you even get in there? And Xehanort's like, well, I was on my journey to prepare for the Mark of Mastery exam. And Mom's like, the what? And Xehanort's like, I thought you were a Keyblade wielder. It's the Mark of Mastery exam.
They named it after you. It's the MoM exam.
Oh,
hate that. He's like, I thought you used to be a Keyblade wielder. And Mom's like, more or less. And Xehanort's like, well, those who are qualified to take the exam go out to explore the world in advance, broaden the horizon. And Mom's like, oh, sounds like work. I don't like it.
This isn't what I wrote down.
Did nobody read my book?
Mom tells him that if his journey's not yet done, you gonna do a favor for me in exchange for that spiffy coat? So it wasn't free. He tells Xehanort that he needs him to take a peek at people's hearts.
Right.
So Mom continues that emotions are complex. What you feel towards someone you love isn't always going to be good. It can be kind of like a false kind of light. This then begs the question, are those messy feelings that emerge from something like love still light, or are they darkness?
Okay.
How do these conflicting feelings lie? Xehanort asks where that came from, and Mom's like, no, let me continue. The dark thoughts that dwell inside most hearts bubble to the surface, where they drag others down. There are those with power and those without. Okay. Those with the power harbor feelings of superiority and judgment, while those who don't, inferiority and envy. The weak who fear the strong strip them of the power. And then Mom turns to Xehanort asking what he is. Xehanort tells him that people shouldn't be categorized in such extremes. Xehanort's not an extremist. What do you think? Who do you think Xehanort is? He's not an extremist.
He's not an extremist. He's very chill, this guy. Yeah.
Level-headed.
Yeah.
Besides, even if he wasn't extreme, it doesn't matter that he carries dark intentions. The Roby's like, is that what experience tells you? And Xehanort's just like, sus. So Mom continues that this will help broaden Xehanort's horizons, just like they want for the exam. In the meantime, he's going to be sat right here in the graveyard. He's going to wait. He's looking forward to hearing more.
What does he do? He's sat in a graveyard for probably, 10 years, 20 years.
Oh, he literally sits there for about 6 months.
And just whistles to himself.
Yes.
He's very old.
That's a very Mom thing to do, though.
Because he strikes me as a guy that gets bored very easily. Surely he's always looking for the next cool thing. Is he not off traveling?
Who knows? Maybe he's got 10 clones. He just left one here. Back in the present, back to the real time, Xehanort, Erd, and Hermod arrive in Agrabah, which now has people. Hooray. Disney.
Great.
Hermod says how Erd... Oh, we're coming on one of my favorite scenes in the entire game. Hermod says how Erd seems distracted ever since the castle, and she's like, well... That's because I met Vala and Vali. Not the same name. That's Vala, V-A-L-A, and Vali, V-A-L-I. Vala was the woman, Vali was the ninja. So she begins to tell them that she met them, but they're cut court. Jafar comes. He's like, oh my god, woe is me. How are the people going to survive? Our kingdom's dying. The only thing that can help us is the lamp. But I'm just a poor old Sultan thingy. It's so hard, I can't do it.
I guess Jafar, that classic
Jafar's
Sultan
amazing,
thingy.
Yeah.
I forget what the word. Vizier, that's the word. He's the vizier.
I'm a Sultan thingy.
Now, of
Who's
course,
the hell?
he does that right around because he sees the three of them and he's like, oh my god, they're goodies. So of course, instantly, Eraqus walks over and he's like, oh my gosh, can we help? Well, let us help.
Is
Oh
any
my
of
god, it's
you-
the Wayfinder trio all over again, isn't it?
Could any of you at least?
Where do you think they learned it?
Could any of you young fine gentlemen be described as a diamond in the rough?
I mean, he does call them all that.
Got a diamond in the rough.
He tricks them into venturing into the Cave of Wonders for him, and Xehanort's like sus, but you know it's an opportunity to see new things. I'll go along with it. So in the Cave of Wonders, you know the lion mouth, it tells them not to touch anything but the lamp, and they're like, only Eraqus would ever be that stupid.
Wow.
Classic.
Classic.
Wow.
Classic Eraqus. He's a greedy sod. That's what we've learned about
Apparently-
Eraqus.
Apparently so.
He's a money
And an
grubber.
idiot, more
Yeah.
importantly.
So they wander further in, eliciting one of my favorite scenes in the entire game, where they're walking through and they're like, "That's a carpet, right?" It certainly is. Yep, walking like a person. Let's pretend we didn't see anything.
That's really funny.
And then instantly,
They don't even look back at it.
That's very funny.
it's not even the funny part,
Oh.
because they instantly see Eraqus, and then we get, "That's Eraqus, right?" It certainly is. Yep, walking like a carpet.
Oh, I love it.
Brilliant.
It's like if they cross him in the street and it's like, I saw him, but I'm going to pretend I didn't see him yet. Yeah. Oh my god.
So
I love that.
they chase them through the cave, getting there just in time to stop our silly little boy Eraqus from being a little naughty boy and touching the treasure like they absolutely knew that he was going to do.
Absolute morals.
And he's like, "Oh my gosh, bestie Xehanort, why are you here? I thought we had a fight." And he's like, so it turns out their quest for four, remember, they're like, "Oh, we gave up on the mirror instantaneously and then came here where Jafar also tricked us. So we're also looking for the lamp. So our party is restored. All six are back."
Great. Sure.
This is very Birth by Sleep-esque shenanigans.
It is.
So Xehanort is like, "Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know if you sensed it, but I sensed darkness in Jafar." And Eraqus is like,
Yo, guys, did you sense some darkness in that evil, suspicious-looking man?
well, remember, Eraqus is like, "Wait, did he trick us?"
Oh, wow.
And even Xehanort's like, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but, you know, Jafar wants the lamp, and when, you know, I shook Jafar's hand, I could feel his greed emanating off him. He's going to do anything for power, even overthrow the Sultan.
Wow.
Well, I feel like we should have actioned that rather than going into the Cave of Wonders.
Genuinely doesn't matter what you do. This will all be reset in a minute. It doesn't matter.
We just need to punch him in the face, like, at least.
Broggy says, "Well, cool, I'm not going to help him anymore," and goes to leave, along with Eraqus and Hermod. But they're stopped by Erd, who's like, no, I think that we should keep looking for the lamp. Not because Jafar asked us to, but because, you know, I think it's essential to the world's order. And, you know, Vala told me that the upperclassmen are really keen on items that are have to do with the world's order. So they might go after this. We should probably go after it. We might find the upperclassmen.
Okay, so it's key to the world's order that the movie plays as it always would. But where's Aladdin in this? You know what I mean? Like, if
Well,
what we're learning, it's almost like this game is trying to explain
Do
the
you remember
plot hole
when? You remember
we've been
when
teasing,
he
and-
sends someone in before Aladdin at the start of the movie?
Oh, he does. Yeah.
With that Keyblade wielder the whole time.
Yeah, you're right.
Didn't you see the extended cut of the Disney film?
He's in Cave of
Surely
Wonders.
it's for the sake of Xehanort's little experiments that he's trying to pull here, where he's trying to figure out more about the world order. Surely it's more interesting to do a bit of A/B testing. They've done numerous worlds where they've followed the order. What happens if they mess it up? What happens if they
No,
don't go
but
for
that's the teaching, and Xehanort's very with the teachings.
But that'll get his answer like that. What happens if we mess up?
But
the
that
world
makes him
order?
a baddie, and he's not a baddie.
Well, I feel like it's just between being a baddie and not participating in the world order, because the implication here is that they have to get the lamp, or Aladdin's world will like fold in on itself. I
Yeah,
guess
with,
you know.
with great power.
Just saying, like I personally would be more interested also to see what happens if we simply don't participate in the movie,
Yeah, I mean,
and that would answer his questions.
Well, we wouldn't have a Disney World then, you silly.
I've wanted to know that the whole time.
Yeah. What happens if we just mess it up a little bit?
It probably just resets.
What happens if like you dye Aladdin's hair? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, or push Jasmine off the carpet. You know?
So-
Anyhow, they do some heartless bosses, and then they find the lamp, and as expected, the second they find it, Vidar shows up.
Oh, very good. Thanks.
Instantaneously. And Erd's like, oh my gosh, it must be essential after all. And Vidar's like, oh my gosh, you must have spoken to Vala. And then he walks forward and takes the lamp. And Eraqus is like, where's Vor? And then she instantly comes out of the portal.
Oh.
They're all very convenient in this game. Vor comes through the portal, and Eraqus is like, oh my gosh, come home. And she's like, no. And Eraqus is like, wait, why? Also, why are you taking the items? You know, are you going to break the world's order? And Vidar was like, yes.
Ooh.
It is going to break the order. Because what I'm searching for is true light that shines even in the face of chaos.
Wow.
Which sounds like what Vala, in very gay terms, called Erd in Beast's Castle. But, yeah. So, is Erd a princess of light? Maybe. Probably not. But, maybe. Who knows? So they're willing to do anything, even destroy worlds, if it means defeating darkness.
What happens if they do take the lamp? What happens?
Disney World doesn't play out. No order.
But do the memories still get reset?
Who knows?
So Jafar sends Aladdin in. He's like, sorry, Jafar, there's no lamp. He's like, what do you mean there's no lamp?
I would assume the lamp also resets.
Does it? So that is an infinitely respawning item. It just clicks back in.
Who knows?
Okay, sure.
You're reading too deep into it. He turns to Eraqus, asking, you're a goody-goody light boy. Wouldn't you do anything for the light? And Eraqus is like, yes, I would.
Yeah, we shag it. I love it.
That's a big old... but, like, that's a big cost. And Xehanort's like, we defeated all the darkness the good old-fashioned way. Why do we need to go this far? And Vidar's like, in order to defeat true darkness, ... they need to gather 7 lights.
Whoa, back to basics.
Wait a minute, no, why?
To replace the 7 lights that they've lost.
What? Okay.
Vor is essential to helping with that, apparently.
So they're gonna try and kidnap the princesses of light, are they?
Yes. Which they think will show themselves through disrupting the world order. Hermod's like, no, but we can't disrupt the world's order. That's like the worst thing you could do. And Vidar's like, well, yeah, I mean, I know. That's what we were taught too. So we flash to the upperclassmen in a room with Master Odin. Here's the rest of our upperclassmen. I won't name the rest of them right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
But we do have Vala, Vali, and Vidor. Don't worry, none of the rest of them are V names.
Yay.
It's all of the V names.
They're X's. We're back to X's.
Odin is teaching them not to upset the order. Vidar's like, well, what if that order is rooted in darkness? And Master Odin's like, well, you ain't smart enough. You don't have the ability to distinguish between light and darkness.
Oh.
So,
Again, who taught me, Odin?
well, he's saying that it's not yet. He's getting there.
Yeah, I get it.
A student jumps up, protesting that we've learned so much. With another agreeing. They're like, oh my gosh, we have enough to knock sense into anyone. Vala's like, no, wait, we need to proceed carefully. And another's like, but with what time? We don't have the time for that. Now, back in the present, Vidar says how they were so focused on what they were taught that they lost sight of what was important. Their friends.
Oh, friendship is magic after all.
Those of light that were supposed to fight with them. He continues that they're gone and never coming back. And in order to make sure that their efforts weren't in vain, they need to defeat the darkness. He tries to convince Eraqus that they want the same thing, asking him to take the lamp and find the light strong enough. He leaves Vor with Eraqus, walks forward, and says he'll do anything to banish darkness. Or at least, he thought he would, but the cost scares him. Xehanort reassures him, saying that they don't have the experience to make this choice. But one day, when he's a Keyblade Master, he will. Seeing that they're way over their heads, they decide to return to Master Odin. 1 year later, Xehanort, now cloaked in his delicious black robe, returns to the Master of Masters in the desert. This is the scene that's in Remind.
Right.
In its entirety, this one. So the Master of Master asks how his tour went, with Xehanort saying that he knows his reason for existence now. He continues how everyone thinks that they live in virtuous peace, but it's all an act. Darkness lurks in the pits of everyone's heart, and their light is a farce. The Master says how the trip had opened Xehanort's eyes, maybe more than he expected. Xehanort continues how the weak that strip the strong of their power convince themselves that they're just, saying they've earned it. But that's just simply the taint of darkness beginning, because then they become the strong, who are once again overthrown by the weak, perpetuating a cycle that grows the darkness stronger. The Master's like, well, can't you let that slide? The weak feel a need to justify their actions, just to maintain a sense of self. And Xehanort's like, yeah, but no, it's better to be ruled by darkness, People have delusions of grandeur, but they're all just sheep. And Xehanort can understand that, though. Now, the Master is shocked at seeing a Keyblade wielder willing to side with the darkness, asking why Xehanort doesn't just let them be until the darkness consumes them on its own. And Xehanort's like, well, that would just be chaos, though. There still needs to be an order, even if darkness isn't charged. The Master of Masters, though, being the Master of Masters, is like, I don't know. Maybe I think you should just watch. I don't think you should get involved. Just watch it. We like to watch. Whatever the word is. Not getting involved. Xehanort is like, well, I realize it's easy to dismiss what you don't understand. Suspicious cloaky. You don't understand anything. Hearts are complicated after all. And Mom's like, oh, I guess. The world does need you. I'll give you that. Xehanort doesn't know what needs to be done, but he's going to act. The future is too important. The Mom agrees, saying it would be a pretty lousy move to let false light dictate the future. That'd be lousy. The Master then asks Xehanort if that's what he wants then, and Xehanort simply shrugs it off, saying that the training is coming to an end, and the exam isn't far off. Maybe he'll gain his clarity then. But the Mom doesn't believe that he's letting the world decide. Xehanort's already decided. The world needs him, and he surely knows where he's headed. Xehanort's like, it's funny. I feel like I already know who I was, and what I need to do. Even this cloak feels familiar, as if I'm meant to wear it. The Master's like, nah, you're gonna get rid of it soon. Well, he's like, nah, you're gonna get rid of it soon. You don't really need it. You're gonna outgrow it. Because if Xehanort truly possesses great power, the darkness can't control him. And then he won't need the coat, because he'll be the one controlling the darkness. The Master, on the other hand, is too much of a scaredy cat. He'll never take it off. Because he's a silly, goofy guy. Oh. Xehanort's like, who really are you? Some kind of fortune teller? And the Master responds like, I could lie and tell you that's what I am, or like, I'm actually a brilliant artist or a scholar. I could tell you that I dream of world peace when I actually want to plan the end of the world. But the truth is that you see with what's your eyes, not what you're here. Xehanort's like, Cable, what's your name? And the Master's like, my name is blank line.
Oh, so annoying. Why?
And I'm a Lost Master.
Because it needs to be a big reveal in Kingdom Hearts 4.
Does it though? Because it's just gonna be like, my name is Keith. It's gonna be like, oh, okay. Like, what's the?
Because I'm waiting for it to be my name is Sora.
Do you think?
Maybe. Who knows?
God, I hope not.
Chapter 7.
Wow.
We're speeding. 65 years later, we see a much older Xehanort guiding Venitus through the corridors of darkness.
Oh, yeah.
He muses on how convenient they are for travel, but they aren't meant to be traversed by the living, only spirits and emotions. Normally you wouldn't need protection, but Xehanort believes that truly strong hearts don't require it. He looks over at Ven, saying how he supposes there's no concern for somebody who's already sealed off his heart. Xehanort looks out, a ghostly image of the robed figure who raised him appearing as he says how his first mentor taught him that there was one described in the book chosen to be a dark vessel who can connect their hearts to other and feel what they feel. Xehanort, believing himself to be this vessel, says that he must open his heart, feel what they feel, and then maybe all be found worthy. Elsewhere, we do get, I don't have a picture, we do see Terra and Aqua for like a split second.
Whoa.
Just in the 2D art style.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Just training, because this is the scene when Xehanort first arrives with Ven, which we do see in Birth by Sleep.
Fight some balls.
No. So this is when he's dropping off in the first place to be an apprentice.
Yeah.
So the balls are later. So he greets Eraqus, walking with him, saying, "You've settled in nicely here." Xehanort compliments Eraqus' apprentices, saying that they look bright, and Eraqus mentions, with Eraqus mentioning the one of Xehanort's own, the talk is kind of terse, it's hollow. You know, they've had a lot of fights about Kingdom Hearts. Xehanort tries to break the ice, but is stopped by Eraqus, who says that his letter is enough. It's all water under the bridge.
Oh, what a little idiot, moron. Oh my god,
besties.
man. Can't be standing this. Eraqus just, he's clearly a villain. He had a big fascist speech with, like, a man that can see a million years into the future. What are you doing? Like,
They're besties.
oh god, just a cataclysmic
He wants his
wank.
bestie to be good. Do you not remember they go together into heaven later?
No, the man's got the brain of a pudding. Sick of it.
They make up, and the conversation shifts to Venitus, who Xehanort wants to place in Eraqus' care. He mentions how in the past year he's taken him under his wing, and he thinks he may be the one. Xehanort continues that he deserves to be guided by a true heir to light, which is what he meant before.
Yeah.
Ven is too special, and Xehanort is too close to the darkness. They hear a scream from off screen and run off. Which I think we remember it's
Yes.
Venitus screaming.
We're getting way back here. I know you haven't mentioned anything about Venitus, but I'm wary here that after Ven Union Cross went through the deal with the darkness controlling him and stuff, is that maybe the explanation of like where that amount of malice comes from that forms Venitus?
Back in the present, the students arrive in the classroom to discuss with Master Odin. They discuss all that we've learned about the upperclassmen, their goals. Eraqus says he can't understand the darkness being so great a threat that Vidar is willing to go to these lengths. He questions Master Odin of what true darkness is and learns everything that I'm not going to repeat again about darknesses with no form. Xehanort asks how they can defeat something like that, and we flash to Vidar asking the exact same question of Master Odin on the tower. Odin tells Vidar of the Lost Master's plan, that while the true darknesses have not yet been defeated, if they inhabit a vessel, defeating them will be possible. We know this. Odin calls the vessel a necessary sacrifice, much to Vidar's horror. Vidar tries to plead for another way, saying that they've already lost too much, and that he won't be able to face his friends if they lose anyone else. But the Master believes that the war must have grief. Odin says that perhaps there is another way, but it's barred from use. Vidar asks if he's referring to Kingdom Hearts.
Ooh, we said the thing. Roll credits.
The thing! It's back!
That's the name of the game.
We've not talked about this in ages.
Legit.
Which is very amusing that it never appears in, debatably, the most important game in the series.
Does Kingdom Hearts exist in Union Cross time?
Yes.
Right, so it's always been there.
It's always been there. It's just because the Master of Masters mentions it a bunch in back cover.
Right.
It's the progenitor of all hearts, Monty.
Oh, I remember that. Okay, I've caught up. I know what it is.
So
It's a data.
It's a hologram.
Odin tells him that Kingdom Hearts is an enigma of which they know very little, but they do at least know the steps of summoning it.
Cool.
By gathering 7 lights that shine amongst the chaos of darkness, Kingdom Hearts will reveal itself. Odin warns, though, that to call upon the power is to purge the worlds, and they can't even be sure that if in doing so, it would cleanse the darkness. So the power of Kingdom Hearts is to reset the worlds.
Oh, I thought, okay. Cool, fair enough.
But they can't be even sure if that's going to,
Don't confuse it with the fake Kingdom Hearts that we saw.
Not the data one.
No.
You're right, yes.
Not the data one, not the fake one from 1. In any case, it's an extreme measure, and is one life truly worth saving for all that devastation? You know, would you rather kill everybody than kill one sacrifice? Vidar, though, he's like, yes, I would. Kingdom Hearts time. And Odin's like, it's forbidden. I don't know much more than speculation. And Vidar's like, okay, bye.
Bye.
Maybe Odin should stop that child that just told him she was going to try and summon
I'm
Kingdom
just
Hearts.
imagining Odin sat behind his desk going, I should go after him. Nah. Probably fine.
Straight up.
Probably cool, my guy.
Back in the classroom, they're discussing Kingdom Hearts further, saying that while its power could likely purge the true darkness, they don't know if that even is the enemy. They ask would they be willing to take the risk of all life on that gamble, and Xehanort continues the power to purge all world as Odin thanks Hermod for coming to him with this. He relieves them all of their duty, telling them to stay there and that he'll finally take care of it.
Oh, good. Hooray.
As they leave, Odin mutters to himself that the Dark Seeker will finally be upon them.
Oh.
Outside in the courtyard, they question what now, wondering how can we go back to our normal lives after that. They talk over what Vidar is trying to do and how it's so much bigger than any of them. Vor's in over her head, and there's nothing that they can do because the gates aren't open anymore because Odin closed them. Xehanort, however, isn't calm, saying that they never found the upperclassmen. The upperclassmen continue to find them because they were keeping tabs on them. We were kind of useless. Upperclassmen rule. Because of that, you know, if we stay here, we're basically going to have the exact same odds of finding them because they're just going to come to us again.
It's just this massive contrast here, isn't it, between how the characters are written for Dark Road and how the characters are written for Union Cross, where the characters in Union Cross were so take the day by the horns, we have a plan, we're going to figure things out, we're going to do things, and they're just like, okay, we're just two small little gnats on a midges on the arse of the story, let the upperclassmen take care of it.
To be fair, in Union Cross, they were the heads of the world, whereas in this one, they're students.
Oh, no, it's totally fair. I'm not criticizing the writing necessarily, I'm criticizing the characters, the characters that have been written, and it's just less interesting. The concept of people being like, you know, it's like we've been waiting for a hero's journey to start an entire...
It's a villain's journey.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, we need to all go back and watch the
Brian David
Gilbert video. That's what we need to do. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So sorry, I take it back.
So Eraqus throws a tantrum. He's like, oh my gosh, I want to just go out and help them. I just want to be a helpful person. And Xehanort's like, yeah, let's do it. And Eraqus is like, what? And Xehanort's like, yeah, no, we should go help them. We're the good guys. We should go help them.
Help them summon Kingdom Hearts.
No. Go help bring them back. You know, save them.
Right, okay.
Stop them. Hermod's like, no, don't do this. You know, Odin's got it. And Xehanort's like, yeah, but no. You know, no. Vidar said that true darkness had to be defeated, so the others' efforts weren't in vain. Ergo, the students likely disappeared due to that darkness. Now, when trying to find out how they can go and help, though, they're suddenly joined by a voice from behind. Whoa. Baldur, who's back after like ages.
Great. Yeah. Baldur, whose sister was in the upperclassmen.
Yes. So they ask him where he's been for so long, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I was tasked with like finding out about darkness."
What did they learn?
That's it.
Oh.
Tasked to find out about darkness. Can you fill me in? The conversation turns to ask about the missing upperclassmen for clues. And Braggy's like, oh my gosh, obviously, I was joking about that. We shouldn't go ask the upperclassmen for clues. Like, they're not going to give us any. But I was like, no. Maybe you're onto something. You see, in one of the worlds he visited, there was a place called the Underworld, so maybe the missing people are there.
Olympus.
So maybe they're there. Eraqus is like, maybe we can finish our assignment then. Before everybody else shuts him up. And he's like, and Baldur's like, what assignment? And Eraqus is like, oh, I wasn't meant to tell you that. Oops.
Oh, very good, Eraqus. He's so sly, isn't he? He's a clever boy. Yeah.
Baldur lets it go, telling them they don't need to worry about Hodor anymore. She tried protecting him anymore, and now she's gone. He's very casual about it. He's like, "Oh, my sister's dead. Don't worry about it." Xehanort's like, "Wait, is that who Vidar mentioned disappearing?" And it seems that from that conversation from Baldur and Eraqus like ages ago, well, he was never able to shake that bad feeling about the Mark of Master exam, so he just followed Hodor, which Hodor is his sister.
Great, thank you.
Yes, so we found her in the Enchanted Dominion, fighting off Maleficent, who's back into her present-day VHS tape.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets in the way and is almost killed by Maleficent, but Hodor jumps in front of him at the last moment, protecting him before she fades away.
Oh, that character that we barely remembered.
Oh, sorry. So after that, Baldur collapses, waking up in the infirmary, and he tells them that the only reason that Odin didn't give him the same task was because he needed time to heal. Urd's like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm good. But like, let's go find out. Let's go, and he opens a portal to the underworld. He's like, let's go. So they go to Olympus Coliseum, and they wander around a bit, and then Hades shows up, and he's like, oh my gosh, win the games. I'll bring you the underworld. Cool. And I'm like, I feel like the door to the underworld was just right back there in the lobby. You could have just gone there, but sure. Playing the games. They win, and Hades is like, haha, come to the underworld, but not together, of course, teehee. So Eraqus, Xehanort, and Bragi end up in his throne room right in front of him. Everybody else is somewhere.
Sure, yeah.
Can't
fit all the characters on one screen at this point.
And Hades is like, oh my gosh, normally people are dying to stay away from here, but not you. Why are you here?
Oh, what a silly goofy guy.
This is a very bizarre Hades in this game.
I can't believe what are we, chapter 7 of 8?
Yes.
We're presumably this is the last Disney World, question mark?
Yes.
we're pretty much finishing up in Olympus of all places.
Yes.
Dear Jesus Christ.
Hades is
You gotta pick
very
somewhere.
bizarrely characterized in this game.
You got to pick somewhere. At this point with these games, I think they just throw a dart at a fucking board with all the names on it.
Honestly.
So, they win. Hades brings him to the underworld. And he's like, oh, why are you here? And they're like, well, we want to talk to somebody who's disappeared. And he's like, what do you think I am? A daycare? Do you know this place? Am I a cosmic lost and found? Anyway, it's a slow day. Might be entertaining. I'll go find her. But if I do, you're leaving somebody here.
Mm-hmm.
Classic Hades.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
And he's like, where'd she kick the metaphorical bucket? They're like, you mean in this world? And he's like, well, I mean, you need to die to end up here. And they're like, wait, you what? But she didn't die. She kind of just, faded away. Because, we didn't see a fucking flying heart, Nomura. We know how you play your tricks, Nomura.
She's not here, is she?
Well, who knows? Luckily,
Hopefully Hades does.
Luckily, Hades is bored. He's like, fine, I'll do it.
Thank God he was having a quiet day.
So like, I don't really want to leave somebody here, but we'll figure that out later. And after a short time, Hades is like, I found her.
Oh, great. Yeah, well done, Hades.
Just like instantly. And he's like, oh my gosh, she even came with some stragglers. What a convenient bonus.
Love it.
And he's like, oh my gosh, you can go over there. Oh my gosh, so many people are about to join my collection. Wow. They're all gonna die.
I love Camp Hades, thank you.
I feel like I've just turned everybody camp in the past couple hours. My gay is coming out. One Cerberus fight later, because of course it's the underworld.
Yeah.
Baldur shows up. And he's like, I'll stay with Braggy and hold off the doggo. You guys go. Further in, they find Erd and Hermod, and they're like, cool. And then they go back up. And they go join Braggy. Meanwhile, we get a comment from Baldur about how the darkness is thicker here and their normal methods won't work. Spooky.
It's the underworld.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Xehanort then tells Eraqus that there's been something bothering him that he needs to find out, urging them forward. Eraqus goes, saying that Xehanort owes him an explanation, while Xehanort says to himself that he hopes it's just his imagination. They journey to the depths of the underworld, lovely river bit, where they find Hoder, along with 3 of the other missing classmen, Heimdall, Helgi, and Sigrun.
Okay.
Yeah. Why are they all here? What are they up to?
Well, they're all dead.
Right. How do they die?
Well, we're getting there.
Okay.
Presumably, I would hope they would say how they died.
Right.
So Heimdall's like, well, I didn't think we were going to be meeting like this. Yeah, kids.
How did they end up in
We don't
the
question
afterlife of a Disney World?
Greece? We don't question it.
Yeah.
Do they all fuse together? Maybe. I think it's just one of those smile and go along with it moments.
Okie dokie.
It's in a Disney World. Disney World logic doesn't need to apply.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Okie dokie.
The only logic that matters is the logic that happens outside Disney Worlds.
Yeah.
So, they're like, well, we were told to find the missing upperclassmen. And they're like, we're missing? What? And Sigrun's like, oh, Vidar didn't make it back then. And Xehanort's like, no, Vidar did make it back. And now he's like trying to make Kingdom Hearts to pierce the world. And Sigrun's like, wait, why is he trying to do that? That sounds like a terrible idea.
Right.
Agreed.
And Xehanort, Eraqus is like, well, it's to defeat darkness and, avenge you guys. Like, okay, what actually happened? And they're like, oh, well, in one of the worlds we visited, we met an evil fairy who put a curse on a princess. I wonder who that could be.
Right, yeah.
So we flash back to them as a whole group where they debate over whether they're allowed to help Aurora. But Vidar stops them. They're like, can't disrupt the order. This isn't our place. We can't go help her. Classic. And Sigurd contests. He's like, wouldn't looking away go against our order? And Vala's like, maybe, but we can't push our order on the people here. It's not our place to push our beliefs. Besides, like Odin said, they don't have the capacity yet to decide what's right. They're not masters. They rest for a bit before traveling back, but in the night are awoken by Volley, the ninja kid, who alerts them that Hoder has disappeared. Turns out Hoder, just real keen on helping, has gone to fight Maleficent on her own. The team splits to find her so they don't have to risk something happening to all of them at once. And Helgi, Sigurd, and Heimdall, so these three, go to find her while Vidar, Vala, and Vali, the ones we've been seeing, stay behind. They find her as she's fading away. Very mysteriously, I might add.
Oh my god, yeah, okay.
Very mysteriously, I might add, without Baldur, it's just her there when she's fading away.
Right.
Okay.
And any chance, they fight off Dragon Maleficent, who proves to be too much for them.
And
But not too much for Sora, a duck, and a dog.
Correct. But Sora's the chosen one.
It's a very strong dog.
Or cow.
I thought he was a cow.
Shut up.
So Maleficent yeets him out of existence, and now they're in hell.
Okay, so Maleficent killed him.
Yeah.
Technically, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Maleficent killed him. Back in the present, they're telling Xehanort that the next they came to, they were in a world with a never-ending sky and ocean, bodiless, with only their hearts remaining.
Okay, so it's really interesting that we're doing this because, again, having seen the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer and understanding very little, and Neil, you've also seen the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, so this is not spoilers for any of us. It ends with Donald and Goofy in presumably the underworld. We don't have confirmation, but it's pretty much set in stone.
Essentially.
Looking for Sora, hoping Hades can guide them to Sora's soul. So this implication is that when I watched the trailer, I was like, God, what a stupid concept. Why would you go there? And now there's clearly precedent for this.
There is.
But whether or not that works for Sora is up in the air, I suppose, right? We don't know whether or not that...
Well...
Maybe he is there. There's a chance, right? Well, no, we know he's in Tokyo.
He's in Tokyo.
But if we didn't know he was
Which
in Tokyo...
I feel like I should qualify is not called Tokyo, it's called Quadratum.
Quadratum.
It's called Quadratum, but that's a story for another game. We'll get there.
But no, it's just
Where Tokyo?
I take it it's never explained why. Well, actually, you probably are building
No,
to,
it
but
is
like,
explained.
why they go to the particularly Hercules' movies underworld.
Well, that's not explained.
Just a thing.
That's just a
The
Disney.
underworld in
They
the
didn't. They
movies.
didn't go to Disney Hercules' underworld. They went to the I forget the name of the world, but the like clear body ocean. All the stars are there
Oh,
in the sky that Sora goes to in
so
Kingdom
why
Hearts
are they
3.
showing up in Hercules?
Because
world?
see me, or I suppose you could read it that Hades was like, they're not here, but I can go looking for them and find them. So maybe as a god of the dead, Hades is able to reach into various underworlds
Right, okay.
and find them. I feel like that's just Disney logic that you need to just Disney logic.
Sure, yeah, let's just go. No plot holes. Disney logic. Okay, sorry. Continue, Chase.
So,
Where was I?
So Maleficent kills them, and they end up in Hercules.
Maleficent killed them. They go to the never-ending ocean and sky world. And they recognize that Maleficent is like a massive force of darkness. But, you know,
Good catch.
she's got a pretty big form, you know? Doesn't seem like a formless darkness. You know, it doesn't seem like a true darkness to them. And Eraqus is like, well, she is a great darkness, though. We still need to deal with her. And Heimdall stops him, and he's like, wait, there's something that we realized when we lost our body. That there may not be a clear difference between light and darkness in the people's hearts. If it all just comes down to varying beliefs of people.
But that's okay. So moral absolutism just simply does not exist in the Kingdom Hearts universe. Then, if you murder somebody, that could be a good or bad act depending on what they believe. That is what we're going with.
I mean, how many people has Sora murdered?
in various worlds.
True,
that
but
is
to
okay.
be fair to us though,
Good,
we've
but-
never thought that was a good thing.
Well, like the Pirates of the Caribbean world, Sora's killed people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Psycho Sora. We know. But okay.
Chosen one Psycho Sora.
It's just it's not a particular. It feels like the game's had quite a few interesting philosophical debates so far. You know, the meddling in worlds, etc. But this just comes down to like, what even is good and evil when you break it down? It's like, oh man, really, we're doing that? Okay, because I feel like Maleficent is evil. You can't. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah.
No, but she's darkness.
She's a bad lady.
There's no Knievel.
But
There's
she's
does
not
bad
true
things.
Like
darkness, though.
darkness.
She's not true darkness.
So in every world, there's strife born of conflicting beliefs, but based on perspective. The light and darkness in these battles shifts.
Yes, whereas for example, my perspective might be that murdering people is bad, and Maleficent's perspective might be that murdering people is good. So therefore, who can say what's right or wrong?
Exactly.
Yay! Relativism.
So they hope that there might be a way to coexist. And Xehanort agrees with the first sentiment, echoing how he's seen darkness in the worlds, but the darkness's goal is to always slowly infect everything. You know, it doesn't exist in people's hearts until it burrows inside, so it's probably not a good thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So Xehanort is the logical sound one here. Xehanort's on your side. Points for Chontil.
Yes, Chontil.
Yeah.
Yes, our son continues to relish the family name and make the most.
Crazy because now we understand what we've had now revealed to us. Canonically now, Xehanort is Axel's great-great-great-grandfather.
Oh,
Canonically.
you're absolutely
For anyone
correct.
that didn't listen to the first part, I won't explain that.
But it is true,
Yeah,
canonically.
Canonically true.
Yes.
For all players.
Yeah.
So Heimdall doesn't give him a straight answer, telling them instead that their lives aren't his to judge, but theirs to lead. They need to go out and seek the answers themselves. So basically, everybody needs their own answers. May their hearts be their guiding keys.
Yes, that thing that they say.
The thing they say. He says how it's time to leave. Hades is so stingy with his time, haha. And he starts to glow. Helgi and Heimdall and Sigurd disappear. But before Hedor does, she walks up to Xehanort asking for a favor. And then the scene shifts.
Of course it does.
And Hedor's gone.
Classic.
Love it.
And Hedor's gone. Well, Eraqus tells Xehanort that they need to join the others.
Right.
They return to the top of the underworld where they find Erd alone. They ask where Hermod is, only to be told that he went looking for Baldur and Bragi. They call it to Hades, thinking he might know, and being the just stand-up chap he is, he immediately comes to their beck and call, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm right here. Hello. Hi." And he's like, "What do you think I am? Your babysitter?" But I do know where they are. And they're a permanent resident of the underworld.
Cool. Can you give him back?
Maybe. So he tries. So he's like, "Okay, deal over. Shoo, out of my underworld." And they're like, "No, our friends are here." And he's like, "Well, I can make room for more." And then you have a boss fight.
Badass. Yeah, cool.
During the fight, Hermod returns, blocking Eraqus' Keyblade from striking Hades.
Why? We can't mess with the world.
Exactly. Eraqus is like, "Back off." And Hermod's like, No. We're done disrupting the world order. We can't do it anymore. And I'm like, when did you do it in the first place?
But the concept here is you can't beat the crap out of Hades because that'll mess with the world order. How many times does Sora beat the crap out of Hades? All the time. And that never destroyed the
It's
world
a
order.
different time and different teachers.
Right, so but I'm just saying that's a stupid thing for that person to. I'm not stupid. I understand why they're doing
And
it.
it wasn't that person, but
Sorry, who's doing it? Who's blocking it?
this is Hermod.
Hermod. Okay,
Who's not Hedor.
You pretend to know who that is.
I don't know what that is. I can't even envision who it might be.
It was blue black hair. It was
Great.
the bassist or the drummer.
Oh, the lead singer.
No,
lead
no,
singer.
no,
Blue
no,
Black
no.
Hair.
You said, is that the lead
That was
singer?
that's how I'm remembering. It might not be how you remember, okay?
yeah, we've got different
but that's
bands
totally
and
fine. But I'm just saying that I get that they've been taught that way, but they've been taught wrong, which further proves that Odin has nothing to add to their teachings. He's an idiot. Continue.
So Eraqus tells him to back off. And Hermod's like, "No, we're done disrupting." And then instantly, Eraqus is like, "No, he has our friends." And Hermod's like, "Oh, okay, never mind. I'm back on your side." And it resolves itself that fast. A+ for standing up for yourself.
Did Nomura write this one?
No.
Because I know we've criticized in the past, but this feels like not Nomura. I feel like Nomura would really give this the time it deserves, and it feels very. I know you're speeding through a bit.
It feels somewhat like an add-on, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. Anyway, Hades goes to strike, but suddenly a dark portal opens up behind the group, sucking in the 4 students. Hades is like, oh well. As they get sucked in, the Olympus Coliseum logo plays to show that they're leaving the world. Well, so he extinguishes his claim. He's like, "Aw, shucks, lost him again," before he turns around to go, "You." And then the scene cuts.
Again, Maleficent would messes with the world order because she tries to unite all the villains, and that doesn't destroy the world.
I feel like we shouldn't get caught up in the world order thing because I genuinely think it makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
I think it makes perfect sense.
No. Continue, sorry. It was Hades doing.
I am gonna hang on this scene for a second, because it's never revisited who he's talking to with this "you," and because you brought up the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, the current running theory is that he's turned around and seen Donald and Goofy from the time of the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer.
So Xehanort leaves in his time, and somehow, like, 1,000 years pass, and Donald and Goofy appear.
They did make a specific note of how worlds have different timelines and different time speeds earlier.
So it's possible.
No, surely not, Chase, because then that means that Donald and Goofy literally just missed young Xehanort. Because they went to the same world.
It's possible.
What are the chances that they landed in the same loop? I mean, the loops are every couple of days.
But somehow the loops also could, like,
I will
compress time.
It's not the most airtight theory. It is only a theory.
It's a fun theory.
But-
It's the one I hope is not true.
I mean, to be fair,
I feel like it's a theory because it's the only thing that explains what he means here, because this is never revisited.
Bloody hell. Alright, cool.
Fine.
Xehanort comes to in a corridor of darkness, seeing Eraqus unprotected on the ground in front of him. He runs forward, waking him up and getting him to quickly don his armor as Eraqus asks where they are. Xehanort tells him about the corridor of darkness, and how if he listens, the darkness is going to get into his heart. Eraqus questions why there's darkness there, and Xehanort doesn't know, but he knows that the armor won't buy them time forever. They need to find Erd and Hermod and get out. Elsewhere, Erd and Hermod have luckily found each other, and also smartly donned their armor. Sadly, though, it's too late for them as darkness has seeped in, and we watch as their hearts go to the sky, and they just die in a corridor of darkness.
Oh.
bye, kids.
Of just darkness. Just darkness kills them.
It's a very out-of-nowhere death.
Yeah.
So, who were they? What were their names?
It's Erd and Hermod.
Erd and Hermod.
Oh, no,
they're actually our pals. They're not the upperclassmen.
No, they're our pals.
They're our pals.
They're our pals.
That's quite sad, that.
Before long, Eraqus and Xehanort also fall to the ground, but are saved just in time by the radiant light of Master Odin, saying how only they remain.
Oh, great.
Odin opens a portal and gets those two out before, they die as well. 65 years later, we see the adult Xehanort
Good, yes. Okay, we're jumping ahead again. Great.
walking the halls of the land of departure before he passes Venitus.
Oh, there he is.
Look how good he looks in this. He looks so
He does act
he looks
like it.
very silly in this art stuff. I mean, so does Xehanort, to be fair.
Almost.
Yeah.
He looks like a chippy.
Yeah.
I love him.
I'm so glad Venitus is back. He's my favorite character.
Venitus is...
Venitus says how it's good riddance for Ven, but Xehanort's like, watch your tongue. I did this for Ven, not for you. He reminds Venitus that while it may be pure darkness, it's no match for his blade. And it's like, got it. Xehanort proceeds to tell Venitus the tale of the 13 primordial darknesses who were trapped in the blah, 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 blah. However, he notes that it's said one survived, disguising itself as an ally of light. He notes that it even could survive in this time, hidden in one of them potentially, asking Venitus what he thinks of that, as a darkness.
Disguise itself as an ally of light. Who did it disguise itself as again?
Don't know.
We don't know that. That's not answered. Okay.
He simply retorts that it has nothing to do with him. Xehanort chuckles, saying, was that so? He continues about how darkness is whole, and while it fractured, it still clearly shares a mind. So clearly, Venitus, as part of darkness, must be tuned into that hive mind. He must know where the 13 are. So Venitus is like, I'm my own being. And Xehanort's like, well, yeah, your own being that's part of the whole. And Venitus just looks at him like, old man? Hypothetically, Xehanort asks, if Venitus were one of the primordial darknesses in question, what would it have to hide? What need would it have to hide? Fear? Venitus is like, what exactly would I have to fear? And Xehanort's like, light. Fear the light.
Sounds like this conversation is very much hinting that Venitus is a primordial darkness.
Venitus laughs, asking if he thinks he's afraid of ickle baby Ventus, as if. Xehanort suddenly looks very serious, saying that Ventus's heart was split into darkness and light. Venitus was not born of Ventus's heart, he merely inhabited it. And if that's true, where did Venitus come from?
Why does he look like Sora?
Xehanort tells Venitus how his meeting with Ventus wasn't chance, as he saw him in his dreams. Venitus asks, what do you know? Xehanort looks smug, asking, what is there to know? To which Venitus replies, nothing, forget it. It is near confirmed that Venitus is one of the 13 darknesses.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's presumably one of the two that was not locked away then.
Yes, the one that Ven fused with in the past before he was launched forward into the future.
It's probably...
Okay.
We're probably not reacting enough because Venitus has never been in my mind like a threatening or interesting villain particularly.
Yeah, if it was literally... Bear in mind, A, that we hate Venitus, but second, we know that Venitus is dead in the present day. We killed Venitus in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Did we? Or did we just
Christ, I hope so. It felt like we did.
Or did we just kill his form? Is he now back to being a formless... Did we free him and he's now formless darkness again in the present?
I thought when you kill... If a darkness is locked away in your heart and you destroy the heart...
Destroy what did he destroy in the present? Venitus was floating around as his own body. He wasn't locked in anything because Xehanort ripped him out.
Okay, no, you're right. Yeah, totally. I'm following this. But that's what we've learned from that then, is that Venitus presumably was a primordial darkness before Sora kicked his ass. So now, it's not really giving us much more, though. That what does that inform? Nothing moving forwards. The primordial darkness was there. Now it's buggered off somewhere. Why does it look like Sora?
So, 2 years, we finally come to the final chapter, Chapter 8.
Bloody hell,
Episode 8. 2 years following the incident, Xehanort and Eraqus enter their classroom, sitting down for a game of chess. They discuss their travels outside of Scala, their worlds, and all that it made them realize, with Xehanort saying how one lifetime is simply too short. Eraqus laughs that you only get one, so you need to live it to the fullest, buddy. And Xehanort's like, it's not enough, buddy. Eraqus asks if, isn't that the reason that you find people to carry on your legacy? And Xehanort's like, no. Forget apprentices. I want to do it myself. And Eraqus is like, well, you silly. How many lifetimes would you want? And Xehanort's like, 13.
Right.
Which, note, may imply Xehanort's not gone after 3.
Why?
So, Nomura has said in interviews post 3's release that just because the story of Xehanort is done doesn't mean Xehanort's gone. So
Why?
Xehanort might have been reborn again into another body, and he might come back. Who knows? We'll see.
Good.
I hope not.
Gracious.
So Xehanort, I mean, Eraqus is like, that's way too many. And Xehanort's like, no, that's how many it's going to take to rebuild the world. Wait. Actually, I want 14. Because I want 1 extra so I can go see the world. It's my tourist life.
Oh, okay. Fair.
So the conversation shifts to their dreams of the future, with Eraqus saying that all he wants to do is stay true to the light because he's a good boy. He wants to be a beacon to guide back those lost to darkness. So he's stealing Aqua's gig. Eraqus is like, Xehanort, if you ever find yourself locked in darkness, as if that would ever happen, I'm gonna find you and help you dig out.
Yeah, sure, Eraqus, you do that.
Great
Wah,
job.
wah.
Yeah.
Back in the present, Master Odin meets with Xehanort and Eraqus, telling them that while all they've lost is terrible, it isn't their fault, but they can't hold it against themselves and let their sacrifices be in vain. Eraqus asks if they were really the only ones who made it back, which Odin confirms. Eraqus mourns for his lost friends, calling them by name, but Odin stops him when he mentions Baldur's name, asking if they crossed paths. Suddenly, they say that they journeyed with him to Olympus Coliseum, but Odin doesn't understand how. Suddenly, a tremendous sound rocks the room as Odin declares, it's begun. Ooh. He summons No Name down from its place in the wall into his hand, saying that he'll evacuate the remaining students and to wait for him here. It's also odd to notice, and I am a bit curious about this, and it's never explained, when he rescued them back... Oh, it doesn't show his Keyblade here. When he rescued them here in the Corridor of Darkness, he was using Brain/Ephemer/Eraqus' Keyblade.
He's spoiled for choice, this
But
guy.
here, he's using No Name.
Well, he's just summoning Keyblades left, right, and center, this guy. Why has he got so many Keyblades?
Just grab whatever's next to you, don't you?
I feel like you should have given the children you sent away on their quest proper Keyblades rather than the metal poles they've got. Seems this guy's got loads.
Yeah, you've said...
But they're not masters, they don't deserve them.
About the majority of your class has come back dead.
Maybe this is on you.
This is maybe time to start. Maybe this is why Yen Sid took over. This guy's about to get fired.
Eraqus calls after him, asking what's going on, and turns to see Xehanort acting very calm and unsurprised. He asks Xehanort if he knows, to which Xehanort replies that he wishes that he didn't. He believes that this is the work of Baldur, fallen to the darkness after the loss of his sister.
Last time we saw Baldur was fighting Cerberus, right?
Yes.
And when the others arrived to where she had died, Baldur was no longer there.
That was it, yeah, Baldur disappeared. Okay.
Yeah. So, outside, they rock outside and see explosion. Scala's exploding. Eraqus, saying how he doesn't want to lose any more friends, asks Xehanort to help him save Baldur. And as they go to leave, a portal opens, and Vidar, Vala, and Volley appear.
And don't forget Viggo, Vorti, and Vidar.
So all of our buddies are here. talking about how Baldur was taken over by darkness. So Vidor's like, oh, I didn't think the Baldur was going to turn on us. And Eraqus storms forward and he's like, did you know? And Vidor's like, well, I kind of knew that darkness chose Baldur as its vessel. Sorry.
You never told us this.
But like, so basically he found it out. But when he found out, he wasn't able to take Baldur's life. And Eraqus is like, yo, this is your fault, man.
Kind of
like, you kind of screwed up, man. If you protected Hodor, none of this would happen. So Eraqus summons his Keyblade, and Xehanort's like, no, calm down, man. You know, if you give in to your anger, that's what got Baldur. And Eraqus is like, nah, anger may take me, but darkness won't. And he smacks Vidor in the face.
God damn it, Eraqus. It's just so difficult to like you, honestly.
Reminding Xehanort that he said that he'd help him, Eraqus vaguely manipulates Xehanort into a boss battle against the 3 upperclassmen.
Of course.
Great, good job.
Yeah, classic. Great friend there. Yeah. Best man at his wedding, for sure.
So the upperclassmen, clearly on their last legs, when Eraqus goes to strike them further, but finally Xehanort blocks Eraqus, being like, maybe it's enough, man, you know? Maybe we should calm down. And Eraqus is like, oh, fine, I'll breathe. But like, Baldur, why would Baldur of all people fall to darkness? And Vidor's like, oh my gosh, right? Like, this is why I was willing to gamble it all in Kingdom Hearts. But like, also, I gave up on that now, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, we've just moved on from that point.
I've moved on from it. Xehanort's like, where's Vor? And Vidor's like, oh, she's gone to the tower to tell Master Odin. And suddenly we hear a voice being like, so you haven't managed to gather the 7 lights? When suddenly a darkness-shrouded Baldur appears. Saying, oh, I can still pretend to be a light person, though. Like, I can still do it. Xehanort winces, clutching at his heart. He's like, oh, it's true then. Baldur chuckles, saying that he was worried that Xehanort would tell everybody his secret. Eraqus calls out to Baldur, saying that he'll purge his heart to save him, when suddenly the darkness clouds over Baldur. So, like, Baldur's image disappears and it just turns into what looks like one of the darknesses from Union Cross.
Very good.
Yes, and it's like, are you sure? We've merged now. If you purge it, Baldur dies too. They go to fight, but Baldur laughs, saying how he has business at the tower and disappearing. They're like, oh shit, he's going after Vor. And they are like, upperclassmen, stay here and fight the Heartless. We're going after Vor. They arrive at the tower, and Baldur approaches Vor.
Cool.
I feel like this story is just rolling at a breakneck pace now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We flash back to day 1.
Why? No, we don't need to. We don't need to do this anymore. I'm done with the flashbacks. We're at the climax and we're fighting.
We see Baldur alone in a white room, cradling himself on the floor, rocking back and forth, saying how she's gone. As the days pass by, the world around him darkens, his sadness turns to grief, he begins to blame himself, and by day 7, he sees no light in the world anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
At this time, a darkness appears behind him, telling him if he sees no more light in the world that he should purge it, to plunge the 13 lights into shadow. Baldur stands, merging with the shadow, and vowing to purge the light. In the present, Vor tells Baldur that she heard about his sister, asking if that's what this is about. The darkness envelops Baldur as he confesses to have actually been the one who killed Hodor.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun!
Oh.
He continues to list off the names of Helgi, Heimdall, Sigurd, Hermod, Urd, and Bragi, as we see that he killed all of them.
Oh. Guy's a
Baldur's just kind of killed everyone. He's a kind of a serial killer now.
Yeah, he's serial killer Baldur. Jesus Christ.
We've suddenly just lost, like, 8 people in the span of a minute.
Okay.
Wow.
Suddenly, everyone is dead, and people wonder why Xehanort's a bit wonky in the head. He draws his blade, pointing it at Vor and telling her that she'll be 8. She draws her blade, fighting him off for a time before being joined by the 3 upperclassmen. Vidar says how they're not protecting Hodor is to blame for Baldur's fate. They all tell him to go quietly and accept his fate as they all team up. Flash forward as Xehanort and Eraqus finally arrive, and the upperclassmen have Baldur on the ropes.
Oh.
He's panting, saying how it wasn't meant to go this way. Suddenly, he screams out as darkness erupts from him in the form of a Heartless. Instantly, it takes out the 3 remaining upperclassmen.
Oh, well, are they dead too? They look dead.
Baldur counts 8, 9, 10. Eraqus and Xehanort draw their blades, fending off the Heartless as Vor draws hers to strike at Baldur when suddenly, 11.
Oh.
11. Oh, wee magic girl. Oh, God, no. Oh.
Now it really is just Xehanort and Eraqus.
Shit.
Oh god, what would have said we should start shedding some characters? I didn't mean
All of them.
Yeah.
You asked for this.
Look, it's still too many characters, right? But god damn, okay.
It's all good. There's only 4 left in the story.
And you're playing this as a boss fight, are you? Is that this is a boss fight with Baldur?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Jesus.
So Vor is thrown across the room, fading near instantly on impact with the floor. But before she can go, she looks up at Eraqus, who's cradling her in his arms, and apologizes for leaving, saying that she realizes now that where she belonged the whole time was with them, and her heart returns to the sky. Baldur laughs, calling Eraqus and Xehanort lucky numbers 12 and 13, before declaring that they need a fitting arena and disappearing. They arrive at the top of the tower, where Baldur says that all the actors are assembled, the stage is set, and the 13 darknesses will be completed here and now. Eraqus questions it, to which Baldur tells him that the key to summoning Kingdom Hearts is to give 13 lights to the shadows. I feel like we've been told 30 different ways to summon Kingdom Hearts at this point.
Yes, yeah.
We're just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
I think that the ultimate answer is the number doesn't matter. You just have light and darkness fight.
Wow, so we just spent all of Kingdom Hearts 3 trying to summon all the lights and all the darknesses, getting the numbers right. We didn't bring extra people to that fight that we know we could have because the numbers had to be right. Turns out it doesn't matter the whole time. It doesn't matter.
Xehanort questions why the darkness wants Kingdom Hearts, saying that it would be destroyed in the world purge, and it laughs, saying that he doesn't understand. Once all is purged, the world will be reborn in darkness. Eraqus says that Vidar's plan never would have worked, but darkness says otherwise, that he paved a path for Vidar, and if he only followed it to the end. He goes on to explain that his first move was to get rid of Hodor to spur on Vidar to seek vengeance, but that once he found who he needed to get revenge on, aka Baldur, he wouldn't be able to do it and would turn to Kingdom Hearts as an alternative. Next was to deal with Heimdall and the others as incentive to keep Vidar on his path. Xehanort questions if Vidar was already gathering the 7 lights, why did darkness appear to them instead of just watching? Darkness tells him that at this point, Vidar gave up on the plan. As such, it was time for a more personal plan. No more schemes, no more games, simply checkmate. It turns back into the boss Heartless, and boss battle ensues.
Kick his ass.
Battle over, and all absolutely exhausted, Eraqus lands one final blow on Baldur, knocking his key from his hand and telling Xehanort to take his chance and purge the darkness. Xehanort goes to strike, when Eraqus suddenly yells at him to wait, that they can still save Baldur. Baldur pleads as the darkness leaks from him, encompassing Xehanort. He asks what's going on and is told by Dark Baldur to put his keyblade away. He tells Xehanort that what he thinks is true darkness is wrong. Xehanort tells him to prove it, and Baldur tells him that hearts simply aren't ruled by darkness or light. It's not that simple. He asks Xehanort which side his heart truly lies on, a question Xehanort can't answer. He asks again, is Xehanort a light pure, a shining brilliantly fully untouched shadow by darkness? Then they're the same, it tells him. They stand by the light only to cast shadows. Xehanort with Eraqus and Baldur with Hodor. When they lose that light, he continues, they're lost.
Right.
He then reveals to Xehanort that he is in fact not one of the 13 ancient darknesses.
Oh, okay, right.
He is rather the unknown. That which you fear, which remember, Vidar was warned of by Master Odin.
Okay.
And that fear gave him shape and form. The terror in their minds, the shadows that lurk in the forgotten recesses of their heart. Xehanort asks if that means that he was born of Baldur's heart, but no, he was born of all of theirs. Baldur's heart merely fostered it, as he was exceptionally sensitive to the hearts of others, as is Xehanort's. The darkness grew from the emotions of its surrounding, just as the true darkness has grew for many years. Xehanort tells him that it doesn't matter, and he's going to defeat them anyway, but darkness insists that it can't be defeated. Hence the sacrifices up to this point. Xehanort tells Baldur to hold on to that anger, as a voice appears telling Baldur to stay strong. He recognizes the voice as Hodor, who, like the Force Goat Eraqus in Kingdom Hearts 3, has been chilling in Xehanort's hair since the underworld. This was the favor, and she comes out.
Oh, great. Hey, ooh.
She did an Eraqus.
Did an Eraqus.
Nice.
She apologizes to Baldur for causing him pain, and Baldur says that it's all his fault. But Hodor comforts him, telling him that the world isn't such a bad place. He says that no, since he was little, he could feel the hearts of others and it scared him. But he always felt safe when he knew that there was only light. But the more hearts he felt, the more darkness creeped in, until one day he realized the darkness he thought was there was in fact his own. He thought Hodor and her light were special until he met Eraqus. Then he realized there are two types of people. Those with light like them, and those like him. She reached out to comfort him as they both suddenly draw their keyblades. He asks why she's doing this, to which she replies she could ask the same. Xehanort stops them, with Hodor dropping her keyblade and reaching out to him when suddenly the darkness bursts forth, taunting their weak hearts. Baldur leaps up to strike when suddenly a chain of light wraps himself around him.
Oh.
The darkness surrounding them recedes as we see Master Odin chain shots from his keyblade, wrapping Baldur in the darkness. Odin tells them that this is the only chance for Xehanort to banish the darkness. Hodor strikes at Baldur, using the last of her strength to knock him to the ground before she fades away. Baldur tries to plead with Xehanort, saying that, again, how they're different from those like Odin and Eraqus. They only see the friends they lost as stepping stones to banishing darkness, pawns for the light. They condemn them, seeing the strength as only darkness. He tells Xehanort to seek answers to the unjust world, to the darkness. Xehanort walks forward, a cold look in his eyes, as he slashes down, destroying Baldur.
Whoa, that's murder in cold blood, that is, because he was all chained up, didn't need to do that.
He did what Daddy Gandalf told him to do. 1 month later, we see Xehanort in the graveyard, placing flowers in the grave of those lost. Eraqus arrives, holding a bundle of flowers of his own and joking that he must be late. He places his own as Eraqus asks how Master Odin is. Eraqus tells him to see for himself, as Xehanort asks how Master Odin is. Eraqus tells him to see for himself, saying how he's not left his room since the incident. Eraqus says how he can't even recognize Master Odin anymore. He's just a glum old man.
I mean, he did fail those kids,
Yeah,
so...
like 13 of his kids died.
Yeah, no sympathy for the guy. It's all his fault.
They joke around before Eraqus tells him that Master Odin is trying to put things back to normal and is thinking of having them take the Mark of Mastery exam. Xehanort is surprised, saying that it seems early. Eraqus tells him that Master Odin seems to have stopped taking apprentices. He wants the two of them to take his place so that he can retire, leaving Scala at Caelum to settle down in a cozy little world. After all that's lost, he feels it's time for a change, to which Xehanort agrees. There is slight implication here that Odin is still alive during the events of the later game.
Yeah.
And might just be chilling in another world. And we might find him. Who knows? As they leave, Arobi walks into the graveyard.
Yay.
Saying how he guesses that it wasn't him after all. We get a flashback to Baldur and Bragi fighting off Cerberus when Bragi realizes what the truth is. Baldur says that it's a shame that Cerberus took Bragi from them all. He asks if he has any last words, but Bragi shrugs, saying, "No, you've already lost. Xehanort's already on to you, Baldur, and if you come back without Bragi, that's going to be suspicions confirmed." Baldur says that he won't go back then. He doesn't need to. He just needs Bragi gone. Bragi looks fake upset, saying, "He's really in a corner, ain't he? With all the trouble Baldur's caused, he'd draw too much attention as a vessel. I'd rather keep his body a little longer."
Oh, it's Lushu.
He asks if Baldur looks confused, asking who he's talking about. He tries to strike Bragi, who boredly swipes away his key, throwing it to the other side of the room and resting it casually on his shoulder. He asks Baldur if he thinks he's strong enough to beat him, as if. But he doesn't really want to get in his way or fight or anything, so he's just gonna peace out and let people forget about him. Baldur asks who he is, causing Bragi to chuckle. Baldur grabs his keyblade, lunging at Bragi as he walks away, and the scene shifts back to the Roby in the graveyard. He looks at the graves. Tough luck, no chosen one yet. But Xehanort could be useful anyway. He walks away, pulling down his robe to reveal Bragi. He moans that it's going to be hard to show his face here if it's meant to be buried here as he walks away.
Yeah, thanks for doing
And
that for the camera.
credits roll.
Yay! Dark Road.
Dark Road.
Dark Road.
Post-credit scene? Yeah.
Who do you think I am? Who do I think I...
Yeah, I see, I'm not celebrating, that's why
I think you'll like this. We get flashbacks to the scenes of Xehanort's mother giving him to the road person and then taking him to Destiny Islands. 9 years pass from that, and we see the blue robe person sat at a campfire on the beach. a child Xehanort walks out of the hut on the beach. Which, mind, also, you know that hut on the beach in Destiny Island? That's where Xehanort grew up. In that hut.
Oh.
Oh.
That's his childhood home.
Cool.
Well,
Just as a fun little Easter egg.
Cool.
Yeah. So he has adopted parents, presumably, because he was just kind of...
Well, blue robe kid.
Oh, yeah,
Blue robe guy. So a child Xehanort walks out of the hut on the beach, pointing out at the water before smiling and coming to sit on the robe person's lap. The child of destiny? Me? Xehanort asks. The figure nods, telling him that his great-great-grandfather was a renowned Keyblade wielder. Xehanort says, yeah, you've told me that, but what's a child of destiny?
And what's a Chontil?
It's a special child that saves the world from darkness, the person tells him. You'll meet and interact with many people, and those interactions will shape your emotions, your thoughts, and lead you on your destined path. Xehanort questions what he means, saying that we're the only ones here. So clearly this might have been a proto-Destiny Island when he was growing up here.
Cool.
So he's like, we're the only ones here. And the figure tells him that one day he's going to leave the island. Xehanort looks excited, but asks, don't I need to stay here so the darkness can't find me? The figure says yes, but only until you're strong enough. Xehanort asks if when he's strong enough, he'll be able to meet his mother again. The figure asks if he wants to see her again, and he says yes, but he can't really remember her, even though she's his mom. He also tells the figure that he wants to meet the people from his dreams. He doesn't know who they are, but they seem to really like each other, asking if that's what friends are like. The figure asks him to tell them about the friends. He describes a boy with curly silver hair, the boy with black clothes and a hat, the skinny boy with pink hair, the quiet boy with blonde hair, the girl who looks like his mother, and a final one who reminds the young Xehanort of his robe mentor. The mentor pauses, clearly shedding a tear, as Xehanort asks what's wrong. The mentor grabs Xehanort in a tight embrace, telling him that he can sense what's in the heart of others, and that he's without a doubt the child of destiny. He goes on to tell the boy that he has experienced much in his 2 lifetimes, some of which he's shared with Xehanort, but much of which is left to tell, and perhaps now is time. He begins his tale. Long ago, in his first lifetime, there was a manuscript that detailed the future, the Book of Prophecies. It was given to a dear friend, but most of what was kept written was kept secret. In his second life, he learned that light was to expire and darkness prevail, but that the child of destiny would change this outcome. They would have the ability to feel, share, and embrace what others felt in their hearts, and even connect their heart with one another to become one. They would hail from the Isles of Destiny. The robed mentor sees that Xehanort has fallen up on his sleep, on his shoulder, and gently strokes his hair, saying perhaps it's too soon. Years later, we see Xehanort preparing to leave the Isle when we hear the robed person say that the end of his time has come. Xehanort will go out to see the world and connect with the hearts of many. His childhood dreams are memories that the blue robe person still holds dear. With what he felt in his heart, and through his memory will connect to many others, the way he did with me. But not all hearts are good. Some may poison and corrupt him, move it to feel fear and hatred, hurt and sorrow, even the torment of one's lost. He'll be tested by darkness time and time again, but he will still push on. In time, his past will lead him to light and fellowship. He truly believes that Xehanort will become light's master. He says this with conviction, because coursing through his veins is the blood of a dear friend of his, Ephemer. Xehanort's great-great-grandfather.
Oh.
Xehanort's not Chontil.
What?
So is
Did you not listen to any of that?
Yeah,
No,
I get
Blue Roby's Chontil.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Blue Roby's Chontil, not Xehanort.
Oh, I would not pick that up.
It was a ruse!
So okay, so Ephemer's heart is inside and was reborn as Xehanort.
No, he's just his blood relation, great-great-grandson.
Right. So Chontil isn't inside of Xehanort at all. Just Chontil's the Roby.
Chontil was reborn as the Roby, who it's theorized is also your player character in Missing Link, the upcoming mobile game. And then they, with all the memories of the past, became Xehanort's first mentor.
Okay.
Because they saw Xehanort as the child of prophecy. Obviously, that's not the case. Xehanort is not the child of prophecy. It's very clearly Sora. But
I do really, before Monty, and I know are we at the end of credits?
that's the end.
That's the end.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Well done, Chase. Well done.
I'd like to say, before Monty goes on a rant, I think I really like about that and I like in general about this is the sort of parallels between Sora and Xehanort's journeys, so the difference between them.
Yes.
It's really this game has lent a lot more background to that, which is nice. What else was positive about it?
I think it's my least favourite one.
That's fair.
I think it's my least favourite one. That's not on you. I think you've done very well. Actually, I think if I played it, I think I would have enjoyed it even less. I think we learned nothing there of substance. Aside from humanizing Xehanort a little bit.
I mean, I think that's all it was meant to do, was humanize Xehanort.
And maybe, to be honest, I might blame the comments for this, so sorry guys, but you made it sound like Dark Road was going to melt my brain a wee bit and recontextualize things in drastic ways. And what have we learned from Dark Road? Nothing of consequence.
It humanized Xehanort. That's what it's there to do.
It did.
I mean, it's there to, you know...
There's things that should have been answered there, I think. What happened to Scala and Caelum? We don't know. What's...
Well, I mean, I think we have an answer. Nothing happened to Scala. It's still there.
So it's just a planet floating in the universe. Okay.
It just seems that, you know, once Xehanort and Eraqus left, there's nobody there. You know, Eraqus resettled in the land of departure, Xehanort went on a journey, and if it's an abandoned place, why go there?
I was hoping that this would build up the Eraqus and Xehanort relationship to the point that I was really sad that they stopped being friends, and I didn't get that.
I think it did. I think that might be on me, to be fair.
No, it might also be on me because I don't like Eraqus.
Definitely did.
I liked their relationship for the first part of the game, especially when they were younger at the start. I like that, but yeah, I think maybe coming off the back of Union Cross.
Yeah, because Union Cross really was so good. Yeah. And I know you shouldn't compare, and we've done this in one day, so it's night and day for me. Union Cross is probably up there with one of my favourites after that. This is bottom. Maybe Chain of Memories is...
I was about to say, I think Chain of Memories is below it for me.
I think that the pacing is weird, all the new characters and all the new names, just so you get the Baldur reveal of I'm a serial killer and I've killed all these people, which is an effective reveal.
And also there's another way to summon Kingdom Hearts.
In
fact, we got two different ways in this one.
Actually, by trying to answer the questions we've been having about rewriting the VHS tapes, it makes the situation so much more difficult to comprehend, I would argue.
To be fair, I feel like in general, in all Kingdom Hearts, you should disregard the Disney worlds from the lore.
True, that is true.
Like, I feel like the second you start trying to look into the Disney worlds, you're going to start looking at that VHS tape problem, then you're just never going to... It's like a paradox.
It's almost like, I feel like if we weren't taking this so seriously now, you know, if we went back to Lore 1 or 2, I think we would have had more fun.
You're too deep in now.
Yeah, we're too invested now, so we're looking at things and trying to find stuff.
Yeah, that could be it.
But yes, so... We're going to finish up there. What we're going to say is that hopefully by the time this goes live, but if not today, listener, the day you're listening, definitely the day after, there will be in the description a link to the next and final video.
For now.
On
we'll have Missing Link and 4 eventually, viewers. Don't worry.
Where we will be covering in its entirety Remind, the KH3 DLC, and Melody of Memory. Right?
Melody of Memory.
We're just going to cover that as one video, and then we're going to theorize. I think you said you've got some things you want to talk about. And hi, it's Editing Monty here. Just to say that you should not be listening to Past Monty. He has had a bit too many adult juices, I think. That guy's an idiot. Melody of Memories and Remind, which is going to be one video, as well as just discussing theories, maybe answering a few fan questions. If you have any, drop them below. That will be recording in a couple of days from now. So it's coming. It's very, very soon, but it will not be out tomorrow at the date of this video. Anticipate it will be closer to a Monday or Tuesday release date next week. Anyway, back to it.
Yeah, I've got thoughts.
Cool, that's exciting.
I've got thoughts. So, I'm gonna start tying it into Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. So we will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for listening.
I love you all.
Bye.
Bye.